Tune into this. Turn on the cam, I am the fizz. Turn on the switch, listen to Strig, yeah. Know if we swinging, there's never a miss. Don't follow a script, yeah. Topics change quick. Looking for facts, looking for tips. One's an enforcer, one's a reporter. Together we cam and Strig, yeah.
Welcome into the Canister Podcast, episode number
338, baby.
Yoink.
Yoink, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Get up.
Oh,
Let's go. God
I
dang,
have
boy.
a lot of energy today from a number of different things.
Get up.
Get up.
Man,
I watched a little bit of Get Up this morning.
you would.
Well, typically I watch the NHL highlights. Ty likes to watch the highlights in the morning, and
Always do, baby.
I'm not
Every
being
morning.
negative. I'm not saying anything bad. It's very controversial, though, because somebody will take this the wrong way, and I don't want anyone to put words in my mouth or say anything.
What?
The Women's World Championships were on. Nothing against it, but it wasn't USA. I can only watch the USA game or maybe the Canada game.
I know what you're saying.
In the Women's
I know
World
what you're saying.
Championships.
I know what you're saying.
And it was like a couple other random countries.
I want to see the highlights of last
I
night.
need the NHL highlights from the night before.
100%.
At 8 a.m., I can't watch
Thank you.
the NHL highlights. I got to watch not even USA. Not USA.
This is Andy. This is Andy, not me.
Not Canada.
This is not me. This is Andy.
It's like Japan versus Sweden.
I agree with you. They do that with the World Championships, too, at times, I think, too, which I think they need to promote that and whatnot. But no, I want to see the highlights of last night. There's important shit going on.
At least, yeah, because that's during the playoffs. But at least those are NHL players. You're familiar with the players.
No. At least those are what?
You're familiar with the NHL players.
What were you saying?
NHL players.
At least those are men.
No, I didn't.
No, that's exactly what you're thinking. That's exactly what you're thinking.
You're putting words in my mouth.
Maddie, that's exactly what he's thinking. That's not me talking. This is Andy.
Dude, I can't believe
you don't want to watch women. That's okay. No big deal. No big deal. We want to watch the highlights the next day. That's it. I like NHL on the fly, baby. And now they do something on NHL Network too, where they have like a cartoon that reenacts the game previous, but they don't have the fights and stuff, and maybe not hits. I don't know why they do that either. Is that kids are involved in that? I don't know. Play more highlights. More highlights. You want to break down the fucking Western Conference? I'll watch Rupper, Dano, all those guys do their thing. The kid game on the weekends, you'd see that. It's like a cartoon on NHL Network. It's like, play the fucking highlights.
What do you mean, the kid game?
They will have
like an animation?
They do a cartoon that reenacts a specific game the night before. Instead of just showing highlights and breaking that down, I'm like,
that's okay.
You don't like women.
That's not true at all. I mean, for you to say
I don't like cartoons. You're talking about gender, which is a fluid situation.
If it's not USA, I need to see what happened in last night's late night games.
You weren't gonna watch.
Oh, because Joy Dunn's on there. Give her a shout out. What's up, Joy? Dunne and Hillary Knight. And Hillary Knight. You know what they pass out at the end of the game? Because, the player of the game
I be a smartass?
in the dressing room.
Should I be a smartass?
Sometimes they'll hand out like a hat.
Yeah.
Or a
like
gold
shoulder
chain
pads
or
with
like a
chaser.
WWF belt or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think they hand out?
Should I be a smartass? Is this a serious
Well,
thing?
what were you going to say?
I don't know. What do they hand out at the end? A helmet.
No.
What is it?
Like a nice robe.
All right.
That's like a beautiful robe. They put the robe on and so
Over
that's
their
what
equipment?
Well, no, because typically they're like got their shoulder pads and everything off after the game when somebody's talking. Hillary and I presented it the other day. It was a great presentation.
I like how you're 180 in this. Like, we don't need to break down what they're handing out after the game.
Can I just
no one
see
gives
the
a shit.
NHL highlights?
No one
We told
cares.
Bucci a few weeks
No
ago
one
that I
cares.
need Americans on the set during the USA
That's
games.
fine. I get that.
He agreed with me.
No shit,
But he had never thought of it on his own.
I can't believe that. You didn't notice that? The
There's two
first thing
things.
we were both texting each other like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right off the bat. I don't like to be controversial on Twitter because Twitter scares me.
God, yeah, man.
I'm afraid people are going to come get me.
Because they will.
My family.
Andy, because they will. They want to hurt you.
Please don't.
They want to ruin. They want you to be broke on the side of the road, man, just for them to make a point.
Cam got upset because I had my Obi hoodie on today.
Andy gets gifts and doesn't give them to me.
I brought you something.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let me see that bad boy right quick.
I brought you a...
Yeah, but okay, let's look at the size, though. Andy
No,
knows I'm a
that's the
straight
size
double.
they-
Andy knows I'm a
No,
straight up
it's
double
not.
XL. What am I going to
That's
do
an
with
X-
this shirt?
It's an XL, dude. You can
It's
wear that.
tiny.
No, it's not. It's pretty big, actually.
No, it's kind of tiny. I like that, though.
Well, you can wear it around the house, dude,
Yeah.
can't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's really small, but yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Whoever made it looks. Was it
Whoever
Fanatics?
made it. Fanatics,
Oh,
dude.
whatever. Well,
They
maybe
sent
the
us
guy, maybe
a
the young
care
kid.
package, man.
Yeah,
Fanatics,
pretty cool.
we appreciate it, man. Big
Appreciate
shout
that.
out to Fanatics. They do a lot
me
of
see.
great things, Cam,
Which
over there
one's-
at Fanatics. Remember we had a Fanatics
Oh,
meeting?
this is so small, Andy. You son of a
Okay,
bitch.
that's
Like
an-
you can't get anything right
That's
with
an
this.
XL, dude. Remember you changed your size to XL?
Did I?
Yeah, because you were like XXL and then you changed your size.
Yeah, it's an XL. I could squeeze into that.
Yeah, I
bad
think
boy.
you can.
Okay, my bad.
Look how big the large is on me.
Well, everything's big on you. It's all good. Thank you. I didn't mean to chirp you on that.
Well,
one.
because you're chirping
I'll chirp you with the
Remember
women's
the
stuff
meeting,
because you
remember
should.
the meeting
you
we
should
had?
want to get up and watch women's hockey, and I kind of was a little uncomfortable how you brought that up right off the bat. Made me a little uncomfortable.
Women's basketball I'll watch all day long.
No, you won't. You
Right.
lie about. You don't even know when the
Caitlin
season
Clark
started.
had
You didn't even know.
22
Don't
points in 2
You don't need
minutes
to
in
make
a
it.
scrimmage against the men. Did you see that?
You don't need to make.
Did you see that?
You didn't make.
22 points in 2 minutes in a scrimmage against
She get owned by the men, dude. It is what it is.
No, the scrimmage
It's-
players. So what they have
I'm
at-
sorry,
at
Caitlin Clark's even boring to watch.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is. They don't dunk. They don't jump. They just throw the ball.
They do dunk.
Caitlin Clark, and I love her, and I think she's an unbelievable athlete, and she's going to make a ton of money. But even like her game is the same game that people are bitching about with the NBA, just throwing the ball up and
Yeah,
shooting
but
threes.
she hits like Curry, like half court shots, and
It just
Long
I'm not a
range.
basketball fan. What can I say?
What
I'm
can I-
just
what can I
not.
say?
I mean, Jordan was cool back in the day. Shaq's fucking cool. Barkley, I like that. I just nowadays, I wouldn't even watch the Game 7 championship.
any LeBron controversy happening right now?
I don't think so.
What about Stephen A. Smith trying to run for president? By the way?
Pussy? That pussy would get owned. That fucking. I'm gonna run for. I'm gonna deal with Putin. Oh, you are? You can't even deal with goddamn LeBron James and his son. You couldn't even deal with that when you got put on the spot. You fucking crumbled. You crumbled in front of everybody. You knew that was coming. You crumbled. Yeah, go talk to Kim Jong-un. Get out of here.
So,
See, these guys are all fake. Who? I mean,
so if you're
get out of here.
if
You're
you're
gonna
like-
negotiate.
if you're the Republican Party and you're trying to
They got
go
AOC.
against him, would you just like show some video
Well,
of him
of course.
getting owned by like Max Kellerman?
Exactly. Like, what do you? It's different.
Like, dude, you couldn't win the debate
You couldn't
against
win that.
Kendrick Perkins.
You're scared of LeBron. And you were right. Though your whole point was right too. Like you made sense, and then he still owns you. That's what's scary. Yeah, you're gonna negotiate good deals around the world. Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Anyway, it's just a different animal when you're a politician, man. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So anyway, so Stephen A. I was reading though. He says that he's being pushed by billionaires and people throughout elected officials in the party to run.
I mean, I don't know.
So they're
Go
telling
ahead.
him to run.
Go ahead against AOC and Bernie.
AOC.
AOC's running probably. I would say.
Okay, but listen. I will
Excuse me?
say
He?
no. The Stephen A. I'm talking about.
You know AOC?
Is it the women?
You're bad with women today, and I'm Maddie. What's going on around
What
here?
is it?
He doesn't respect any women. Whoa.
Which one's the AOC?
AOC?
Yeah, remind me.
Kind of hot one?
Oh my
Very
God.
annoying.
That's her name, AOC.
No. Look it up.
I will, because I guarantee. Dude, you didn't know who Scott
Wow.
Jennings was, so just calm down with this. Because I
Scott
probably would have
Jennings,
recognized
you saw him
her.
one
Scott
time.
Jennings
I've
is
been
like
watching Scott Jennings for a long time. You even threw
He's
an-
like, I don't know who that is. Good one. Here he comes.
Andy started paying attention to politics, and then all of a sudden he's like, Scott Jennings
Here
is
he
interesting.
comes. Let's
You
see, AOC.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about AOC.
Well,
we don't want to
brought her
bore
up, dude. I don't.
You brought this whole thing up.
Oh God, the redhead.
No, she's not red hair. She's not redhead, dude. That's Jen Psaki. Get on with yourself. What's wrong with you? You don't know your women, and you brought up the women thing earlier about not watching.
Oh,
in the morning.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, just say her name. She is very
AOC.
nice.
She's cute, I think, but she's psychotic. So she's probably going to
She's
run.
got my vote.
I know she does. That's how easy it is. And the everywhere I said the Creve Core Racket Club mentality right there. You know, but
We're leaving.
I would. Oh,
I
because
hate-
of me.
No. Well, here's the deal.
Oh,
I know it's very
Creve
sad that we're
Core
leaving the
Racket
Creve
Club,
Core
'cause
Racket
a lot of
Club.
people know about the Creve Core Racket Club
I know
out there.
they do. So we're leaving because
That's a cute picture.
oh, you like that?
Yeah.
My kids?
Dang good.
We're leaving because Lifetime just bought them out. And so like they're increasing all the prices and everything, which is fine, but it doesn't give you membership to the other Lifetime
Oh, really?
places where that one guy went to the bathroom.
The male in the female locker room. Everybody's like, that never happens. I'm like, motherfucker, it happened right down the road.
So you don't like by paying more and being a member of this lifetime, it doesn't give you the membership at the other lifetimes. So I'm like, well, might as well just go be a member at the other lifetimes versus spending more to be a member there.
Okay.
Or we may go to. There's another place we're looking at.
You just remember, like,
Yeah.
you're talking about leaving a membership,
Yeah.
and about it's like people don't give a fuck.
Do you know?
Think about the good old boy. Like,
I'm just saying.
you are in a bubble.
In Saskatchewan.
Yeah, they're like, Andy, go fuck your Creve Coeur Racket Club bullshit.
So listen.
Now you're explaining, like, no one cares.
So there is a Frontenac Racket Club, and there is a Ledoux Racket Club.
You would. Andy, that's just not my style, dude.
So,
I will say this, over the weekend, though, I did have a good time. It was beautiful.
I barbecued
and
all day
we
yesterday.
barbecued. It was just a good weekend to barbecue. A little windy, which is tough whenever you're doing it.
Not late in the day, though.
Not late in the day. It was beautiful. I watched golf all goddamn weekend.
Yeah, I
dude.
watched
And you did too. It's interesting.
It is That's interesting.
That was really interesting. That whole situation.
Golf
dude.
to me on television, like the Sunday of a major, the last 3 holes is the equivalent of watching like the fourth quarter in the NBA,
of course.
in the playoffs.
Overtime.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Overtime. It's like, okay, call me when it's the last 3 holes, when the drama is at its highest. I know you build up to it. There was a lot of drama yesterday.
Big time drama.
You know,
Rory McIlroy.
Because what's his name? Anshambu? I can never say his name.
DeChambeau. He's
DeChambeau.
cool.
He
Bryson.
fell off,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
He fell off, and he had an opportunity to really make some noise yesterday. He fell off. Then he made some comments after that Rory didn't talk to him all day.
Well, yeah, man, they're psychotic, dude. Listen, that's why Andy doesn't realize in golf, like, sometimes you don't want people to fucking talk to you. Andy's a goddamn rodeo clown out there, and people are trying to, you know, they're playing in these tournaments. You don't understand. Sometimes you got to ignore. Some people like to talk. A lot of people don't, man. He was so stressed out, dude. He was so stressed. Rory, I've never seen anybody celebrate like that. Like, usually golfers like, well, I just won $4 million and now I'm on my blah, 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 blah. Rory was like, whew. Dude, he missed a couple putts. Dude, a lot of guys, that's what I'm saying.
Some terrible shots, too.
No, that course is so hard, dude.
Greens are hard.
It is unbelievably how hard it is. You realize no one's on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
No one has any cell phone. When you're watching it, you hear all those birds chirping the same thing over and over. That's all manufactured, too. The green, everything's like fucking perfect, man.
What do you mean? It's fake bird chirping?
Yes, on TV, yeah.
Why?
You can't say certain words on a broadcast. Like, it's really hardcore, man.
Very white.
You would get kicked.
I'm just saying.
I think Condoleezza Rice is in that mug, but that's maybe Barack Obama.
He was like shaking hands with everybody after he won in
Very
green
white.
It was very white.
White,
whiter than the Creve Coeur Racket Club.
Well, they didn't.
They
didn't allow African Americans in that mug for a while.
I know that, but
So
now they do, and it's still very white.
Women. I don't think. Maddie, do they let women in that? Well, yeah, Condoleezza Rice.
Did you see the crowd? It was whiter than that sausage fest in Phoenix that everyone like goes crazy.
Yeah, with
about.
all the, I know they're all like falling down.
What do you call that? The Phoenix Open?
Swinging dick open. Jesus, swinging dicks everywhere.
Oh,
There's
no,
hot chicks down there. I saw
It's
dudes.
the trash company. Why am I forgetting?
Waste management. Yeah.
And
I ain't into that.
People are always like, man, that looks so much fun. I want to go to that.
I used to make fun of a couple of my buddies growing up. The parents got them into golf. Mine didn't. And they would watch golf on TV, and I'd be like, this is the most boring pussy bullshit I've ever seen in my life. I hate this. I hate everybody there. Tiger Woods came on the scene. I'm like, this is interesting. Then you start playing in these tournaments and stuff like that. You live on a course now. I love watching it. It makes me relaxed.
Yeah.
That was cool, man. Bryson DeChambeau's cool. Watch his YouTube.
Yeah, you told me that. So
Watch
I'm
his
going to
YouTube.
give
He
it a
just golfed with
chance
Trump the other
because
day.
he wasn't getting along with the other guy.
Rory?
No, the guy who goes to all the Panthers games.
Brooks Koepka,
Yeah.
who was like this. Remember, he was like rolling Molly that
So,
night.
you know, I got into golf when I saw Annika Sormstan just drill a
Eight
putt.
sporadic.
No, what do you mean, dude? I was working at Cherry Hills Golf Course, and we had the Bud Light
That's where
open.
Kate lived. Her
Really?
family grew up. Yep.
Really? Oh, I worked there for a long time.
You've had some
I had
cool
the
jobs.
I had the best time, dude.
Now, that's a cool job. Working at a golf
in
course.
the summertime?
That's a cool job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I did that for.
Work your ass off.
I was like, dude,
I would not hire you.
it would no, Cam, you would have so much fun. We got
I know.
there at like 6 a.m, 6:30, and we had to do like the mowing and all that stuff.
You fucked
And
up
so
so much shit.
everybody had their own
Jesus.
tiger cat, you know, and we'd be racing.
No
and
wonder
like,
it went
get
under.
stuck into like
No wonder it went
sand
under.
traps and shit. I ran into a guy recently. He was like, "Dude, do you recognize me?" I go, "No." He goes, "You worked with me at Cherry Hills Golf Course. Like,
and you lost
he
us
goes,
money.
you were fucking hilarious, dude. That's what he.
No, I don't know. He looked at he was crunching the numbers every month. He's like,
I would
things are
tell
going up.
everyone what to do.
You think everybody thinks you're hilarious? You're losing the guy money.
I would tell everyone what to do. It would be so funny, man.
Remember Andy's self-awareness when he says these kind of things.
Hey,
you were hilarious when we went under.
Yeah, hey, listen. So at this golf course, they had the big women's major. It was like a big deal every year. You had to have the course ready because the women's major was coming.
Going down this path again.
And Annika Sormstan.
She good looking?
Not necessarily. I mean, she looks.
So what? You liked her swing?
She won the tournament.
Oh, okay.
And she looks like Martina Navratilova a little bit.
I gotta look these girls up. Not that matters.
I think she looks like Martina.
Looks don't matter.
Hey,
anything.
There's a couple of beautiful women golfers out
it's
there.
the sexiest.
I find it very sexy when I see
you know no. See,
no,
this is where
I find it sexy when I see a girl playing golf in her little golf clothes and everything.
And her skirt. Andy,
Can you wear it? Can you wear it?
Can
you wear a skirt at your golf club?
It's got to be people get in trouble. Women get in trouble at St. Albans for having too short of skirts.
I bet. Not at my golf club.
You don't have one.
It's encouraged.
You don't have one. Yeah, but if a girl can golf, it is such a sexy thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It is so sexy. Basketball, not so much. Golf, 100%.
If I see a girl,
do you see the one Asian girl, the tall one?
Oh God!
With that, I mean, she's fucking.
How
built.
tall?
Like looks like she's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Do you find most golfers to be tall?
Yeah, because if the taller you are, just the more you have more leverage and your swing.
How do you think they become so good?
They practice, Andy. How do you become good at anything? You just practice. And a lot of these guys have money. Mom and dad, listen, golfing it's cheap. It's not cheap.
No, they're fancy lads for sure.
A lot of them are, dude.
And a lot of the people who golf, who are really into golf now, they grew up. Anybody who grew up golfing, like I didn't grow up golfing.
No.
Nobody ever.
No one.
I never had anyone in my house waking up, hey, you want to go golfing today,
or tennis, or any of that. No. What can you do, like, around the house? Go kick the ball.
And I say that, and I played hockey. I know hockey's a fancy lad.
It's hard
sport.
to be. We're kind of a hypocrite on that.
I know, but you know what? I got myself into it.
I played roller hockey. It was cheap. You just got me rollerblades, and I rollerbladed everywhere. Like, it was the cheapest version of what you can do. Like, we're not renting ice out all the time. It costs too much money. So I just wish, and I tell parents this, dude, right? I do. Listen, it's easy to get your kids into basketball. It's cheap. Mm-hmm. Like, they ain't going to make any soccer, baseball. But if you could find a way for them to be consistent with golf and like the sport, which is really difficult to do at a young age, I get it.
Yeah.
If you could do that, man, like the benefit from that is just.
How'd you get into hockey?
The Blues, baby.
No, but like, how'd you get into it?
My dad took me to a Blues game, and I saw Twister and Chaser and Brett Hall. And I became obsessed with the sport. Then my dad got me rollerblades. I rollerbladed. Then I get Don Cherry fight videos, and I just sent them in because you couldn't watch anything. There's no NHL. So I just rollerbladed every single day, dude. I became obsessed with it.
Okay, yeah. And that's
and he's like,
similar to me, actually.
You know, that's what you do.
My dad was just a diehard hockey fan. Grew up in had Canadian family. Grew up in Canada half the time. Was in Buffalo, New York a lot of the time too. He was so into it, and he was actually coaching like DeSmet High School when I was a kid. Like he was a coach. And I'd go to the games when I was like 2-3 years old. And that's how I became obsessed with it. But I didn't start playing until several years later, going to, on Friday nights at Creve Coeur Ice Rink, they had a public session. And you'd go up there, grade school. Everybody's up there from different schools. You get to know all these kids and whatever.
Spray the boards.
And there was a guy who ran the rink. His name was Rick Trappier. Remember, you ever know that guy?
I don't know.
Rick Trappier, redheaded guy. And I'll never forget, he came up to me and he said, hey, during the public session, probably saw like the way I was crossing over or something and the way I was rotating my hips. And he said, hey.
Did he give you a.
He said, he goes, have you signed up for hockey? I go, no. He goes, you need to sign up. He goes, before you leave, come see me. Gave me the registration to take home. And it was so cheap back then, really, like just to sign up for the tryouts or whatever. They gave you all the equipment, and I signed up.
Really? They gave you all the equipment?
For House League, yeah.
I never got that.
Yeah, so my first year I signed up, Creve Coeur hockey, and most kids play like a year of house. It's like kids play Little Blues now. You know what I mean? Like you sign up, Little Blues. That's how you learn to skate. That's how you learn. So they gave us all the equipment except for the skates. And so you go back in the equipment room. I was like in heaven. I was like, oh my God.
I want that
equipment everywhere.
Really?
And they gave me all my equipment. And then I signed up for House League. And then
And you never turned back.
Travel hockey.
And you never turned back.
Signed my first pro contract.
I mean, if you only played one game. But no, I didn't know that they gave you free equipment like that because I remember just living out.
I don't know if it's free, but
your parents paid us
part
a
of the
package.
registration. Yeah.
Kind of what they do with the Little Blues,
Yeah.
like the sticks and stuff like that. I remember my dad buying me my first pair of equipment, and I fucking hated it. It was a Cooper ugly helmet. My gloves were tiny. I was looking at all these guys with those GX 350s, and those Easton badass ones. My dad gave me the shittiest equipment, and I was so mad at him. And I just went out there, and it just
but when I was a kid, the kid with the shitty equipment
were the
with
best.
the cage that was rusted
Like Jan
or
Stosny.
it was all like beat up.
Yes.
That's the kid where you're like, I'm
There
not
it
going
is.
in the corner with
There
that
it
kid.
is.
Now, if you see that kid, you're like, he's
ain't
a
playing.
bender.
He ain't playing.
He can't play.
In fact, if you have you guys come out if they want to, they tie their shin pads with
Oh my God.
with
shoelaces.
shoelaces.
skate
Right?
laces.
Hey, motherfucker, we have free everything here. Use some fucking,
Yeah.
don't look like a Hoosier.
Some NHL players to this day, Justin Falk's one of them. I don't want to call him out, but he
Does
does.
it behind
he
the
wraps
skates.
his laces around his skates.
Oh,
That must be a superstition for him because he's been doing it his whole life, most likely. I got to ask him about it, but I wonder if he gets chirped for that ever on the ice, or
'Cause
they
that's
don't
the
chirp
guy-
him because he's almost played 1,000 games or whatever. Been an
you look.
all-star.
A lot of guys do quirky things, but I remember Steve Ott. That's why I started to put my shin pad over and then tongues out. Was when I saw Steve Ott for the first time in Windsor. I used to have my fucking thing over my shin pad over my tongue, and then I saw him, and he wrapped the skates out, and his tongues would be sticking down. He'd even tape his tongues down just so they'd flop over a lot
Really?
better. I'm like, I'm gonna do that. So
Okay.
that's how I started
Yeah.
doing it.
We've been.
It was
switch-
uncomfortable
I've
at
been
first.
switching it. I always had tongues out. I've been switching it on and off with Ty, like because
Let him do it.
I know
It doesn't
because
matter.
but he sees every NHL player has
Yes.
tongues in, so he's like, "Why do I have my tongues out? I don't know."
Tongues out I just think you look more athletic with
You
tongues out,
think?
in my opinion. Otter I just remember that vividly. Like he just looked better on the ice. Defenseman, maybe the other side, just because you're blocking a lot
Yeah.
more shots.
So
But a forward, I just feel like you have more movement.
I took my kid to skate with John Stanbrook. I'll give Stanbrook a big shout out. Blues skating coach, been around for a long time. He's taught everyone how to skate in this town over the years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever skated with him back in the day.
No, I did Diana Schaefer. I'll give her a shout out.
Diana.
And
for sure. Gail Tucker.
Gail
maybe?
Tucker. Yeah. She had a
Gail.
Volvo that said skate doctor or
Yeah.
something on it. No,
Oh,
that's Bert.
Bert.
It said skate.
Although he drives I don't think it's a Volvo.
So anyway.
Cadillac. Yeah, so they're all great. They all do different
It's
things.
hard
They're
job.
all great. But
Yep.
there was a guy the other day. Ty's 8 years old, so it's mostly younger kids. I mean, you in the summer you get some like college and USHL kids that come back and skate, which is great for the younger kids. But last week there was a kid out there who was obviously a really good skater, but he was older, so you just never know how good he is because he's so much older. He had a Green Bay Gamblers like practice jersey on,
What's
but his
that?
helmet was a different team. So Green Bay Gamblers, USHL.
Oh, you say, okay.
Yeah, John Cooper coached there.
Yeah.
A lot of NHL players that come out of there. And he was fully dressed, but he had no socks on over his shin pads. And it was just the ugliest look.
Wait,
and
wait,
I'm
what?
like, yeah, no socks on, just the shin pads.
Go borrow socks.
Go borrow socks. Did you
there's a-
forget your socks,
Yeah.
or is that your style?
No, that's not style.
Because
That's
if
illegal.
that's your style, I'm just like, dude, you can't be coming out
Teams
here
wouldn't-
looking like that.
No.
Like, you got to look like a hockey player.
That's
Put
ridiculous.
Put your hockey socks on over your shin pads.
Different colored tape on stuff. It just you look foolish. So if your kid is a little loud, maybe even like in my opinion, I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
you paint your skates in a different way. You look a little too loud. In my opinion, that looks more foolish than it does professional.
Some kids are wearing the gold steel nowadays.
It's too much. Like I wanted to do that too. My dad's like, no,
Yeah.
you go do your thing on the ice, dude. Like
Mhm.
no one's looking. You're trying too hard. I remember there's a little patch back in the day where you could put a little patch over your skate bag, and I'm like, Daddy, give me one of these. Like, no, man.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, you're sticking. That's not how you stick out.
Yeah, I know. And like everyone's different.
Everybody's
some
different,
kids
though.
like to use like green tape and
That's
stuff
what I
like
mean.
that.
It just
I
doesn't
can't-
look good.
I can't do it.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
It ain't the end of the world.
And they have all different colors, man. Howie's and all these, they probably have all different colors. Howie's, I don't even know if they have all these different colors, but like some of the other companies do.
It's just my opinion.
Some kids will have like bright orange laces on one skate and then black laces on the other skate.
Well, what about Alex Ovechkin? Well, I don't know. I think he looked goofy too for a while with
his yellow
he
laces.
Didn't need that. But that's him.
Yeah, but
that's
he had the tinted visor, man. He had his own style.
He had his own style. I get all that.
Tucked his jersey in.
I did that, baby.
Me too. I know.
What's up? Tuck my goddamn. Not in Jersey though. He wouldn't let you. But
really?
No, Jersey.
You can't tuck your jersey in.
Lou, I told you guys a story. I'd be in practice, and I always wanted to put my jersey over my elbow pads just because I could fling them off. It just was a habit. It looks kind of cool. I always wear my shirts with my sleeves kind of rolled up like this, and I would be practicing. I just roll them up, not even know. Lou would be way the hell up there and go all the way to the bench, call me over around the middle of practice and tell me to untuck this or put my sleeves back down and go all the way back up and sit in the seat. What the fuck?
Yeah, I will see some kids. Jake Neighbors actually does this too. He keeps his jersey really tight up around his elbow pads.
I like that sort of.
You did that too.
Yes.
And I felt like maybe that was so guys couldn't grab on in a fight.
This is kind of a style.
Okay, but it exposes a lot of skin, dude.
100,000.
And it's dangerous.
Dangerous as hell. You're 100% right.
If you get cut there, dude.
I know, man.
Isn't that life-threatening?
People, dude, I had scars on my wrists. It looks like I was like trying to off myself.
Oh my God.
I know. No, you're 100% right. That's why Carlo and those guys have that. You could do that if you have you have that, that sort of material it's cut resistant. You want to do that, but that was just a style thing.
So I see kids do that nowadays too, man. Like little older kids, like 14, 15.
See, what I don't get is, and all you guys out there too, because we have a lot of listeners that skate in alumni skates or not alumni skates, but just beer league stuff. You guys are out there with no shoulder pads on. I just played in this fancy camp. We talked about that. There's guys out there that are flying around 100 miles an hour with no shoulder pads on. I go, why?
Did Shaddy wear shoulder pads?
Don't know. I'm not talking about Shattenkirk.
I just want to bring
him up
because he called you out last week, and a number of guys did. And
can I tell the story?
Well,
a number of guys did because I said that we won in a one-word answer.
I'd like to get into
that. My point is, let me chirp you guys real quick. You guys troll out there like Andy did, and I fucking bash him too, with no shoulder pads on. You're playing against guys that are going 100 miles an hour. Why aren't you wearing shoulder pads? Because you look
more flexibility.
Because what Chaser did, like no flexibility. You can't put on at least something with a cup on your shoulder so you could protect your AC joints. Mm-hmm. Why the hell wouldn't you do that? Is it a cool factor? Do you look cool?
No.
You need shoulder pads. You might need to wear shoulder pads, fucking 24/7. Like the women in the 80s.
Like to the grocery store.
Like the women in the 80s.
Oh, my God.
My mom used to, I know.
Shoulder pads.
My mom, I saw a picture of my mom
what
the other
were
day.
those for?
It was a style back then. You're like a fucking
like
big
a box.
Square. Yeah, box,
Okay, let me get down to business real quick because last week Cam was bragging about how hard he tried in the
I was drinking
all the fantasy camp.
I was drinking more than anybody all day long.
He was trying so hard.
Paul Stastny's literally no. Okay, I got to defend him. No. Paul Stastny's literally in there stretching out, like doing all these different walking warm-ups. I'm crushing freaking bloody goddamn Marys. Getting my mind right in other ways too.
Okay.
And I still dominated. That's an all-day thing.
You might have to turn his mic off for the next second.
All right, go ahead.
A few minutes here. Sorry. Cam was trying very hard during the course of the fantasy camp. Just trying as hard as he could, then bragging about how many goals he scored and like saying his team was so good and that they won the championship. I literally asked him, who won the championship? He said, we did.
Yeah, I did. You're right.
So I'm getting like Phil Maroon, Kevin Shattenkirk.
Don't let me talk about him.
No, he called you out.
That vagina.
And Kevin Shattenkirk, Will Chase.
Oh, Willie.
Chaser's son. Be like, Cam, what is he talking about, dude? This is ridiculous. Like, you're lying on the show about your team.
White lie.
Who did not win at all.
That's debatable.
And
that's
also,
still debatable.
Cam, who tried as hard as he could, disrespected these poor people from Salt Lake City. So they come in from Salt Lake City to play, to have a good time.
Jesus,
and
Murphy.
his team runs up the score
Lord.
Salt Lake City, dude.
I didn't mean to do that.
They're good Mormon people there, dude.
Damn good. Good
Mormon people.
I'm sorry.
A lot of wives. A lot of wives.
A lot of wives.
I don't know about them, but I mean, that's just kind of what goes down there. Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Now, I wouldn't do that because I'm
Mhm.
happily married.
Yeah.
But to think to have 10 wives is
Multiple wives.
would be kind of
You
cool.
do this, you do that.
You kind of put them in place. I mean,
Everything's getting done.
everybody, I like, how dare you say that? Well, if you really think about it,
Mhm.
but it could be bad in other ways too.
No, it could be.
Anyway, that might have been a white lie. That might have been a white lie. I don't think there was a winner in this tournament. So we lost one game to Shatty's team, Shattenkirk's team. I was
not happy with you.
Not feeling good
Not
in that
happy
morning.
with you.
I'm not allowed to score. They got guys that are playing like East Coast League, so it's not like a professional, but they are professional. They're allowed to score. I'll talk about little Weidman too, by the way. So anyway, he asked me if we won. I said, yeah, I don't know. There wasn't even a winner in it, the whole thing anyway.
Okay,
so
I'm not going to
it's what
spend
it
a
is.
lot of time on
So
this.
a
but
white
let me
lie,
just,
yes.
Let me just explain a couple things.
Don't spend too much time
apparently
because it
you-
ain't that big of a deal.
You made the championship, but didn't want to play Phil's
Yeah, but
team.
I don't even know what that is. Like, I have nothing to do with any of
So
that.
you
dude.
played the third place game instead.
Yeah, but no one
apparently.
even, there's not like a chart or anything. Like, no one knows. White lie, no big deal. No big deal.
I'm just saying.
Andy tries, though.
No, I'm just.
Of
Dude,
all the cool stuff I did over the weekend, we did great stuff, raised money, awesome.
they're reaching out to me. I'm
And-
just telling you what they're saying.
You guys will like the bullshit. It's all good. You're on a little.
Shaddy's like, tell your boy they didn't do shit.
And okay, I'm saying I apologize for that. Nobody won.
So,
Nobody won. So
oh, nobody's a winner?
no, there
How
was
about-
not a winner.
How about- well, I think everyone should win.
I think
I think-
Cancer won. No, Cancer didn't win. Cancer lost
Mm.
in that
Speaking
weekend
of which,
because we raised a ton of money for
Speaking of which, I
Sidemen's.
think Chaser has gotten some good news over the
Yeah.
course of the last few days, which is a real positive.
Yeah, I think he's cancer free. I think that's bone marrow stuff
yeah,
a little bit.
it's
Might have to give him-
starting to click
Yeah.
in or whatever, work or be. You had the transplant,
It's just a lot.
and
dude.
there's a process you go through where
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't start operating the way that you hope it will, or take into effect immediately the way that you hope it does, and it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of complications that come with it, and finally it started, working. So, big shout out to Chaser.
Damn right, baby. How about this Calvin DeHaan situation?
Talked to him yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. Get him on.
He is
Okay.
uh,
I could see how this can go down though.
after the exit
Because
meeting.
he's just walking out there. He's frustrated. The whole team's probably frustrated. The organization's all pissy.
Well, what do
There's-
you think of that, dude?
He just walks out and he's just in a pissy mood. He's walking out to the rink to go to practice,
Yeah.
and somebody said something. He just did one of those statements where you just turn and say, you know how this is. They fucking treat me like shit. And he thought that they were just going to sit down and talk about it afterwards. Instead, boom. And he messed
No,
that up.
no,
Isn't that how it went down?
No, not really. Because first off, I want to get your take because he's been a healthy scratch for 18 straight games
That's
on a
tough.
bad team.
That's tough.
That's gutless
It's tough.
to a veteran guy.
It's tough.
18 games in a row
It's tough.
on your losing ass, dramatic filled team where everyone is called out. There's been so many players that have called out
Yep.
this team this year.
That's a tough one, man. 18, I've
You know,
never done that.
Whether it's Bessie who got moved, Truba called him out. He was like the first one to
Yeah.
do it. Some other guys called him out too. And like another guy called him out and they traded him the next day. Capo Caco.
Yeah.
He
that's right.
called him out too. They're all calling him out. So I actually give him some credit because they have the balls. This guy comes over from Colorado, 18 consecutive games and not playing. So he's walking out to the
That's
ice.
a
He's
lot.
like, yeah, they're fucking me over, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll have something to say afterwards. Well, then the PR guy comes up to him on the ice, basically, in there, or at least off the ice or whatever. Animated conversation. And they collectively agree, and I think DeHaan even said later it was his decision. Wait till after the season. I think they have 2 or 3 games left. Wait till after the season's over, and then he can make his comments. So obviously the Rangers, who are major control freaks, man, we've tried to have guys on here
Yep,
in the past.
you're right, Andy.
You're not allowed to talk to anybody from the Rangers. They're the sacred team in the National Hockey
I
League.
know.
You can't talk to anybody from the Rangers. So they're like, we got to control everything you're going to say. And so they're hoping, obviously, after a couple of days, that things just kind of simmer down. He doesn't say much. So,
But he did just walk on the ice. I was right that he just said that.
yeah.
This is kind of a quick remark to the.
Yeah. Like, I'll have something to say after practice today.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
still gave him something, and they blew
Yes.
that up on
And
Twitter
then he posted something on Twitter.
afterwards.
Yeah.
rebuttal.
Kind of explaining that he was frustrated.
Yes.
He's been a healthy scratch for
18
18 games
God,
in
that's
a row.
so unnecessary to do that.
Unnecessary.
It is so
Like, your
unnecessary.
team's not good enough to where
No.
you're like,
You're like, we're set in stone.
We can't take anybody out.
Get out of here. That's just rude. And you know what happens when you do that, Andy? Everybody else in the league looks at you and says, fuck these guys.
I'm not going there.
I don't want to go there.
They'll never play me.
And you need some of these late 32, 33, 34-year-old guys to help solidify the back end or whatever the case is. Like, you're going to need that if you want to go on a run. You're going to need experience.
But they've had a lot of drama, dude. They go from President's Trophy to all this damn drama.
But you see, like, God, if you're an older guy, like, I'm not signing there. It's already freaking hard enough to play there and live there. And now this goes on? No. I'll go somewhere else.
I didn't listen, Messier, you know I love Messier. I'm not being critical of Messier again because I know he was on the...
See, you weren't critical of the women at the beginning of the podcast either.
I wasn't.
Sometimes you just say
I'm critical of the tournament getting more airtime right now than NHL highlights. Oh, are you uncomfortable with that?
I was earlier. I'm better now.
I think when you're an analyst, you got to be willing to put it all out there.
What's he not doing, Andy?
So he gave a list of things that the Rangers need to do in the offseason. And it was about culture and leadership and different things like that. All made sense, man. He is the captain.
Yeah.
And
been there, done that.
A legend.
Yeah.
But you got to remove yourself, man. When you take a seat as an analyst, you become an analyst. Like, look at Charles Barkley. Look at Shaquille O'Neal. Look at all these NFL guys, man, that go on television. A lot of them legends, man. Hockey, it's actually rare that you have legendary players become analysts. Typically, it's guys that didn't make a ton of money, that have to work, and they're funny. They got great personality, but they still need to work. You can make a lot of money in your post-career and go have a lot of success, be around the game, and become more popular as a television star than you were as a player. We see that all the time. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. But you're an analyst, man. Your job is to give your opinion. So he was asked by Steve Levy, well, what about coaches, the coach, and management? Should there be a change there? I'm not going there.
Oh, no.
I'm not going there. And Levy then doubled down. He's like, wait, are you saying they should or shouldn't? Should they fire the coach? Should they make a change with the coach or the GM? I'm not even talking about that. You get this stuff fixed first, then we can talk about that. I thought that was a cop-out. I know you're close to the organization, man, but you're paid to give an opinion, to have a hot take, and in that situation, I would have liked to see him deliver. When you're given an opportunity to give an opinion that people want to hear you give, if I'm a Rangers fan, if I'm a diehard Rangers fan, I'm watching that. I want to hear Mark Messier, what he has to say. What's your opinion on this? Not duck it. Not just completely run away from it. I want to see him give his opinion.
You made your point earlier when you said a lot of these guys that have been through it all, that have the money, they don't want drama. They don't want to get rocked by whoever or whatnot. They want to just kind of keep it chill. Yeah. That's why the guys that didn't make that much money are on there with big personalities. Like, I'll give you my opinion.
Well, because he's got a relationship with Chris Drury.
Of course he does.
He's got a relationship with James Dolan. He's got a relationship with Peter Laviolette. He doesn't want to face that music, right?
He doesn't need to make this money.
He doesn't want these guys being like, hey, why are you saying that on national TV, on ESPN?
He doesn't want any drama.
Dude, but you're an analyst, man. You got to give an opinion on that. That's what you're paid to do.
I agree with you.
It's not a... New York Rangers.
How dare you ask me that?
It's not a New York Rangers Q&A with season ticket holders.
Yeah, and sponsors that are you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? No, you're paid to give an opinion on
100%.
that. And if you don't feel like the coach or the GM should be fired, then say that.
I agree with you.
And if you feel like they should be fired, say that.
I didn't see that. Were people tweeting it out and stuff too?
I don't know what they were tweeting on. Oh, yeah, I think the segment was. I don't know if anyone shares the opinion that I have or not.
Maybe not.
That's just what I took when I watched it.
Interesting.
I didn't read
that was good.
And I didn't read a single comment on it. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I'd like to see what the comments say. I bet you they agree with you.
Let's go look at the comments.
I bet you they agree with you.
Well, they should. Mark Messier, give a damn opinion.
How dare you ask me that? Well, it's a big deal.
The greatest captain in Rangers history.
You can't put your foot.
Give your opinion.
Who's going to say anything?
Who wants to watch an NFL analyst or an NBA analyst? On a Sunday morning, it's NFL, and all of a sudden they go to Bill Parcells when he was an analyst, or you go to the guy who was the former coach of the Buffalo Bills who's on there, man. New York Jets. Let's go eat a goddamn sandwich.
Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan.
Cool as hell, man.
They go to him. You don't think he's going to give his opinion?
He doesn't care.
This guy coached in the league forever.
There it is.
He's got friends in the business, and he's like, this fucking guy shouldn't be a coach anymore. They need to get rid of his ass.
And get rid of the GM.
He's talking about the owner that wrote him checks that he's got a relationship with. He wants to go back and coach. He interviewed with the Jets this year to become their coach again.
Andy, this isn't a situation where it's like a sexual assault case.
No.
where you're like, I can't get into that. Okay, there's lawyers involved.
I'm not going there.
I'm not going there. Fucking, there should be any changes
What else?
in Pratt and
We
the
don't-
upper
We
management.
don't care about the,
I mean,
the nucleus of the team.
You can't talk about the upper management
No,
and
he's-
if they're on the hot seat or not.
It's all the players. So he's talking about the nucleus of the team. Comes from the
Jesus.
nucleus.
Yeah, we know that. What about the big boys?
What about the drama?
What about the big boys?
Yeah.
Should they be there? How dare you ask? Well,
And
yeah.
Levy was like, he was annoyed.
Good for him.
I could tell.
Good for him. I'm gonna have to watch that clip.
Because Levy has worked Monday Night Football. He's worked
Yeah.
with these other analysts from other sports.
They're like-
He's probably like, the
They
fuck,
throw
man?
bombs,
You don't,
dude.
Look at Stephen A. Smith, dude. He's literally going after LeBron James for being a
He ain't gonna
terrible
go-
father
he ain't going
and
after-
whatever.
He ain't going after Putin.
And then, okay.
He ain't gonna go after Putin. Mm-hmm.
All those guys, dude, on First
He
Take.
ain't gonna
though.
go after
That's
Putin.
what it is, man. It's just opinion driven.
You know.
They literally will call a guy out for like being shitty at basketball, for
I
playing like
know.
shit.
Barkley calls out the women of
We
San
could
Antonio.
never analyze hockey players as great as they are and as great as the NHL is. It's a very thin-skinned league.
Yeah. Okay.
And you could never cover the NHL the same way other professional sports are covered.
I think it's getting trending in a different direction, but I think the old school mindset in hockey is just keep everything in the locker room. Don't
Dude.
call anybody out. Just walk around Chaser for 5
I've
minutes.
covered
you know,
some
although
thin-
he's called guys
I've
out.
covered some thin-skinned people that were flat-out babies. Downright babies.
Yeah, important big dogs that are babies.
So thin-skinned.
You're like,
I'm like,
you're
what?
mad at
You're
that?
upset about that?
You got a good game. What do you? Shit, I get
You're making-
chirped every fucking day.
You're
You're mad about
millions
that?
of dollars and
See,
you're
you're not
upset.
realistic. You're in
Yeah.
a little bubble. You're in
Yeah.
a bubble.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know.
Not real. You
Ex-
think that way?
I know.
Jesus. No, you're 100% right with that. God dang.
I got to
Mess.
get your take on
What do you think?
this Yakov Trenin
I-
punching Derek Forbert on the ice because you've been in this situation a lot. I would imagine there's lots of times you could have just punched a guy when he was on the ice.
So a lot of times I did.
Okay. Because I look at this a couple different ways, and I want to get your take. First off, everyone's like, he should be suspended. You know, he broke his orbital bone.
No, I know.
And even Rick Taka, who's been in a shit ton of fights, man,
he's
he's
done
a
that too.
warrior.
Yep.
51% chance he leaves, by the way. That's my own animal.
Don't get distracted. Go.
Okay, we'll talk about him leaving Vancouver.
Yeah.
Get out of that drama-filled fest, too. Please,
Go
get
and
away from
go
there.
to chill zone.
Go get to the
Get to
find
the
your chill zone,
yeah,
Todd.
it's out there.
It's out there. It ain't there, but
It ain't-
find your
it
chill
ain't-
zone.
It might not be in Canada.
No,
You know.
although the players want him to stay.
Yeah.
They didn't
Get
Get a number one
Let's get
center
to this trending thing because
who's-
I
get
had
a number one center who plays with some.
I was going to tell you what my
Okay,
opinion on it.
so here's the way I look at this. It's the code. You don't see it too often. It's very frowned upon. Punch a guy while he's down. Although, if you watch the replay, it looked like Forbert tried to punch him as he was going down. So maybe that ignited Trenton. I did think it was a gutless move. I thought it was dirty. I don't think there's a place for it. I don't know if you can suspend him for it. Like, how do you regulate something like that, Cam? You know what I'm saying? When you look at the actual rule book in the National Hockey League, like, is that against the rules? I don't think it is. There's no rule that says you can't punch a guy when he's down on the ice. So while the optics are terrible and it doesn't look good and it's a cheap shot and it's dirty, at the end of the day, they're fighting. So it's a fight. Should that be regulated by the NHL?
I mean, it depends. That was so quick. And if you've ever been into a fight, like you're not thinking at that point. This happens so much, by the way. If you watch all these other fights too, when they fall down, there's an extra punch thrown
they
in.
may not connect.
This
on
one
it, yeah.
connected, and so now it's a big deal. You got the press involved, but I didn't think it happened quick, man. It wasn't like he fell and all of a sudden he came in like bam, like some of those UFC fighters do, where the guy's knocked out and you come on that donkey. It was more like they were still grappling, they're falling down. He caught him at the end. They're both pissed off. That happens in a nanosecond. If you're really fighting like that, man, you're not thinking clearly. I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
What's more dirty, the punch or Chatfield throwing Michaels, right? Connor McMichael, throwing him down to the ice. Remember Chatfield a few games ago from the Carolina Hurricanes?
Yes.
Really threw him down?
I hated that.
Yeah, okay.
So I hated that. And we never really got to talk about it because we
didn't.
forgot to talk about it last week.
Yeah.
But I hated that play. That's you punch a guy down, man. You ask all those old school tough guys, including I brought him up 15 times today, Kelly Chase, who's been on this here podcast a million times. He's like, no, you catch them when they're down, man. Like you're in a fight, like you're pissed.
I can't wait to
and
ask
I
him
didn't
about
even
that,
like
too.
to do that. I didn't like to do it, but sometimes you can't help yourself, man. You watch old school stuff and you're like, damn, I caught him when he was down. Like you weren't thinking clearly. But the Chatfield one, when you know somebody doesn't have a helmet and they're tied up with their hands, to throw their head down like that is such a gutless play, man. Happened to me a couple times. I'm like, whoa, I'll go down. Like, tie me up. We'll stop. But to throw somebody down, you're trying to hurt him. And you know he's going to hit the ice. And that's all the punches, all that stuff. The scariest thing in the world is when your helmet comes off and you hit your head off the ice. That's what fucks you up more than anything.
Okay, so...
That I hated
don't
watching
we see
it.
guys get? I mean, I agree with you.
I
But
hated
don't we see
watching it.
guys get thrown down? That's how fights end
Dude,
all the
this
time.
was a karate throw,
They grab him
dude.
by the jersey and they just like throw him down.
This was a
This was a
karate
different
swinging.
one,
I'm
yeah.
gonna put my and I talked to George Peros in the locker room. Actually, George Peros
About that play.
he's like, nope, I can't suspend him on this. And he explained the whole thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it does make sense. I just know what he was thinking, and I didn't like it.
Okay, so Chatfield doesn't have that many career fights.
No,
Or certainly this year he hasn't fought
this
that
is such a pussy cop out. Just tie him up, and if you want to throw him down,
I'll tell you what I
you
did
tried
like,
to
though.
spin him around.
And that was Connor McMichael who he threw down. Great young London night, man. Good player.
He listened to the pod too.
Yeah,
What's up,
yeah,
baby?
so I didn't like that at all. But I did like Duhaime sticking up for him. And he just threw bombs on Chatfield, man.
There's
was
some
like,
damn good
did you
fights.
see
Yes.
the response?
Whoa, baby. God, I loved it, man. Some of these fights, whoo, they're throwing now.
Brandon
dude.
Moore called the controversy surrounding the takedown media-driven and called the media morons.
No, man, I've never seen anything like that. You watch all these, dude. I watch every single fight, dude. For years, I've never really seen anybody really throw a guy down like that without a helmet and kind of get his weight, like a weight shift, like you would do in an MMA match. If you went to go Jesse Finney's and you start, working on your grappling, like that's something that you would do. It's not in a hockey fight world. Like it's just not. I've never seen that before, and I hated it.
All right, let's get back to Tocchet real quick because his contract is up. There's a team option where they can keep him. Maybe it's a mutual option. There is an option in the contract. My feeling is, this past season, the past 2 years with Vancouver would just wear me out, dude. I'm sorry. It would just wear me out. We were calling them out for being dramatic before any of the stuff between JT Miller and Pedersen.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Boudreaux shit and whatever, just nonstop there, man.
Too much.
In Vancouver. They are way too much.
You're too loud.
And, I like Jim Rutherford. He's been on the show. Great guest. But it's just like, man, why is your organization so drama-filled? Why is this happening? And a guy like Tocchet, who's got a lot of pride, he's got a lot of confidence, he's been around for a long time, he doesn't need this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? He can go coach elsewhere and probably get hired within the next couple of days. He knows that.
Like where?
Well, Philly, probably. Okay. I said that from the beginning that he would end up back in Philly with his boys.
But that's loud, too.
Yeah, but he's really tight with,
I'm
Keith
just
Jones
saying, like, that's a big market to a big market. I don't know.
Rare.
That's, if you want to chill out, like, where else would you?
I'm with you. Yeah.
Utah, or something like that. You know what I mean?
But if you were to handicap it, in my opinion, which is basically 50-50, I guess, I would say he's slightly leaning more towards leaving than he is staying. I would be surprised if he stayed because I do think he'll have other options. And you're essentially signing back up. You look at your situation with Pedersen. Does he feel like he can win with him anyway, making 11.5? I love the Quinn Hughes, player in general, man. He's one of my favorite players to watch. And there's other players on Vancouver I like as well. You got a goaltender with Thatcher Demko, so there are a lot of positives with Vancouver. But what is Tocchet's relationship with management? Does he want to work for these guys moving forward? And if the answer is no, then he's not going to stay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. You mentioned Utah. You know who I could see coaching in Utah one day? If he ever leaves his current organization, I could see him coaching in Utah. And I'm not going to say this is going to happen. All I'm going to say is if he were to ever leave his current organization, I could see him going there.
Who?
Because I think they could pay him $10 million a year to do it.
Oh, God. John Cooper? Wow, did I get that?
Yeah.
You were really adamant, and
Yeah.
you were deep with that, so I figured it'd be somebody you knew.
They're Gazer buddies, dude. Like really tight.
Yeah, but Gazer's okay, but okay.
I'm just saying, if there's somebody,
But Gazer has nothing to do with Utah.
The owner
I know.
of Gazer, the owner of Utah, and Coop are very close friends.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. I get
And
that
that's
connection.
where they hang out, in Gazer. So,
But like if Coop,
so if he were to ever leave, although I wouldn't ever close the door on Coop eventually just going upstairs and working with management
no
too.
doubt.
I
Yeah.
could see him doing that. That's kind of the play that I would do. I'd be like, kick my feet up in Florida and go move upstairs and be in management. But
that's more.
if you want to make $10 million a year, there's a handful of organizations that can pay that. And there are some out there that can. And I could see him, I'm not saying $10 million is the magic number, but I bet you he would get somewhere in that range. Eventually, we're going to see an NHL coach making $10 million. That's just the reality of it. You're going to see, we've already seen coaches get to 6.
Who's the highest paid right now?
Quimbo was up there. I mean, you know, he was making 6.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, Babcock was making 6+.
I remember that.
Coaches were making a lot of money, man.
Who's the highest paid right now, you think?
I bet you Coop is he's got to be up there.
6.5, 7?
You know, Chief is up there with Toronto.
You would think that
He's not the
you would
highest
want
paid
your
coach.
players to make a little bit more money than a coach, but that's just the way it is. And actually,
yeah, but when you win a couple of cups and
Yeah.
you've had so much success, I just think you're in position
You
to
are.
ask for whatever you want.
I agree.
And I just think, you got to have a certain owner who can afford to pay that. The guy out there in Utah can do that. And their buddies.
That Gazer connection. And he keeps thinking he's going to get invited up there to play golf. It's not happening.
I don't need to play golf up there.
Well, that's what they do. And so if you're if we go up there and we embarrass ourselves in front
From
of
the
everybody.
children's tees.
Oh, Jesus. Andy's talking to everybody. They're really taking it serious. Oh, God.
No, but
I don't know if we can go.
I just want to hang out at the treehouse.
I want to look around
Yeah.
at beauty and get my mind right.
I've told Chaser a couple times, I want to sell for him. I want to sell real estate.
Yeah, Chaser's going to
in
work
Gaza.
with you. You out of your gut.
I want to sell real estate in Gaza. Hey, I got to give a shout out to
I was going to say,
Barrett Jackman's son, man.
Yeah, I saw that. Got drafted by Erie Otters, baby.
Yeah, Caden Jackman. He'll get drafted in the USHL as well. So, son of Barrett Jackman. I always like to see the next wave of NHL players, see their kids have success, man. Jackman's one of them, local kid.
Yep.
Another kid, Landon Jackman, who has the same last name.
Confuses a lot of people. I saw a couple things
he
on
plays
that.
in he's played for Little Caesars this past year, but he grew up playing for the AAA Blues
I'm like,
here in St. Louis.
yeah.
He got drafted 41st overall in the OHL draft. So
Cool, baby. You're going to have a good time.
but now kids, it's an option for kids who want to play college hockey.
There's a lot of travel in Erie.
If you want to go that route, I still think the USHL, man, they had some announcements this past week coming together with the NHL and some things that are going to help the USHL be at a more of a level playing field, with the CHL, for example. And so there's some good things, happening there with the USHL.
Cool.
So hopefully a lot of these American kids stay and play in the USHL versus
Well,
just leaving for the OHL.
I feel like in St. Louis that there hasn't been like a big draft in a while, from St. Louis kids getting drafted.
It's not the NHL draft. We get kids that
I
are
know,
drafted to junior pretty much every year.
No, yeah, but I'm saying kids getting drafted in the NHL. I mean, we haven't seen that in a while.
We're going to have a first or second round pick this year.
Okay. When was the
Shane
last
Van
time?
Sage plays at Michigan State.
Cool.
Probably more so in the second round, but you never know. He could climb into the.
I just feel like it kind of
end
fell
of
off
the
a little
first,
bit.
you
Then there's
never
going to
know.
be a big bump, and
I think with the
comes and
younger kids that you see now, I think just the way the programs are and the development process and how much ice time these kids are getting and the competition they're playing at a very young age, I think you'll see a boost. See it come back full circle.
I hope so. Did you see Sidney Crosby? I don't know. Was he on Pat McAfee? And they just give him a football. And he goes, they're like, throw it in this thing. And it's like, I don't know, look pretty far away. And he stood up and just goes, I mean, he looked like a goddamn quarterback and just fucking,
really?
yeah,
What
right
if he
down the.
couldn't throw that?
I know.
Do you think he had?
He is he's an athlete. Dude.
Do you think
It was
before the show they told him he was going to do that, and he had a couple practice
probably,
throws?
but dude, the way he threw it, you're like, look it up, dude. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. He just darted the damn thing. Everybody's like, for like $1 million for charity or something. Pretty cool.
Okay.
He's just a cool cat, man. You could tell he's an athlete. Could he play?
You couldn't tell by watching him play hockey that he was an athlete.
I'm just saying. I mean, like he could run a route and catch a ball. Probably. He's probably fast. Now he's not going to dunk. He might be able to dunk, but he's not going to play, but he's just got a little bit of everything. Not too many guys could just throw a football like that. Dude.
Oshie could.
Oshie could probably. He's an athlete too.
I've seen Oshie.
There's a couple players I played with that can't throw a football.
Oh my God.
Like,
or play basketball.
But basketball's whatever. You can't throw a ball. It confuses me. Okay.
Dude.
Like any kid, like if your kid can't throw a ball.
Mostly like European guys.
If your kid can't throw a ball, you're like, whoa.
They didn't grow up playing football there.
Dude, just you have a ball in your hand as a kid.
Football's
like,
shaped weird. It's a little
Football's different, man. You could still throw it, but it's this guy, I mean, he penned it. Like it wasn't like a duck or anything. And I gotta give another shout out too, by the way, for giving shout outs out. Gabriel Landeskog.
Oh yeah.
Man, he's cool as hell, dude. If you read up on all his stuff and what he had to go through.
Have you watched his
Yeah, I watched a chunk of it, Andy.
Really? What's it on? HBO?
I don't know.
You watch a chunk of it?
Yes.
On social media?
It could be on
social media. Or have you watched
or on YouTube.
the streaming of it?
It's the same thing.
And what is it? Like document his recovery?
He explains what went down. Really, really weird. Really weird injury. He is a cool dude. And now he's playing in the minors right now, getting his groove on. Before Dallas and Colorado play each other. People are bitching about that, might I add.
Mm-hmm.
You got Dallas and Colorado right off the bat. Like,
yeah, but
Jesus,
people would complain because I don't hear it.
Go ahead, then. Okay. What are you looking at your phone for? Get back in the game.
I want to watch this Crosby
Get back.
thing.
Look at this, dude. He's just a stud, man.
Are they going to get to it? Where are they?
I don't know. His tank top, though. Pat McAfee's tank top. People could chirp me. Like, I probably wear the same thing every day. I don't know. But a tank top looks goddamn hosey. I could smell your underarms.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he just threw a bomb, dude. See, he just looked good doing that. Okay. Anyway, what a waste.
Right. Fine. That was
How about you look things up once in a while?
I've seen Oshie running into a dressing room and somebody throwing a football from several yards away to another guy as he's running into the dressing room from the ice. Doesn't even see the ball because it's not being thrown to Oshie. He's like going through the pattern, and just looks, and here it comes. A missile, by the way, because the Blues' former massage therapist, Rubber, he used to be a quarterback back then. Jeff Wright used to be a quarterback. You know that, right? He was a quarterback. Okay. So anyway,
come on.
Oshie just looks.
And he catches it.
One hand.
Yeah, he's an athlete.
One hand.
That's what athletes do.
I'm like, okay, that's
what
bad.
Athletes do.
Anders Lee.
That's how you're judging him because of Rubber throwing a football in the.
It was a great catch.
And I look at Oshie.
I played in celebrity softball games with him too.
He could probably hit a ball.
Yes.
Yeah. Sidney Crosby hit a home run in batting practice. Like, he's just a good athlete, man. Mm-hmm. They all are. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It is what it is. What else am I looking at here, baby?
Well, there's a lot of things.
Let's go.
Hey, can I give a shout?
Jeff Skinner playing in his first playoff game. God, that's ungoddamn believable.
You think he's nervous?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, you never played in a playoff game. That's unreal to think about, man.
Jay Bomeister never played in the playoffs until he came to St. Louis.
Florida. Yeah.
Until he came to St. Louis, like dominated. 700-800 games in.
He dominated. Jay Bomeister was great in the playoffs.
He was.
He was getting chirped so bad here.
But some of these guys, man, they're just on bad teams.
Bad teams
Buffalo,
for a while.
I'm not having it. I hear a rumor, by the way. I'm going to throw this out there right now.
Let's go, Andy.
Get on your game. That Buffalo is for sale. I hear the Buffalo Sabres are for sale, and they need to be for sale. And I like Terry Pegula. I like his wife as well, who's been going through an illness and whatnot. Because they also own the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the best teams in the NFL, and so they do a great job on the football side. But you know how hard it must be to miss the playoffs every year? Like, how do you do that? You can't ever get good. You can't draft first overall, more than once, and you still can't find a way to get good and be in the playoffs? Like, you have major issues, Buffalo. I know you're scoring goals and you're winning games when it doesn't matter. I'm so sick of that. Stop winning.
It's not even good to do that anyway.
No, they just
drop.
Exactly, just dropping. You
need a drop.
Oh, we're good in April. At the beginning of the April, though. Hey, you never play in the end of April. Okay, you never play. You never play at the end of April. We're great in early April.
Man,
never in the middle or the end of April because you're never playing, and you start.
So weird.
And this guy now is telling you miss the playoffs every year, and you draft high every year, and you can't. And I know you traded Ryan O'Reilly or whatever, but you still got a guy that scores 45 goals in return. You still can't find a way to make the playoffs.
It's unbelievable.
They have first overall defenseman. I mean, it is just absolutely amazing that they cannot figure it out. How many coaches have they been through?
Oh, God.
How many general managers have they been through? It doesn't matter who's running the team. It doesn't matter who's coaching the team. They miss the playoffs every year. I mean, eventually you find a way to get good. I mean, you just missed the playoffs even 5-6 years in a row. Well, we got a bunch of draft picks. I mean, the Blues make the playoffs and they get a bunch of draft picks and they find ways to get prospects in, and they miss the playoffs for a handful of years, whatever. But then you figure it out, you rebuild, you get into transition, whatever you want to call it, and you find a way to be competitive again. You guys,
Wow.
you have to try really hard to be as bad as you guys have been. I feel bad for the Buffalo Sabre fans. I think they're some of the best fans in the league. They always have been. Very fanatical. They love the
They've
game
had
of
some
hockey.
awesome teams
They've
in the
got a lot
90s
of Canadian
and 2000s.
transplants, man. They
Yep.
love their hockey. They deserve so much better than what they're
Cool
getting.
players played
I
there.
hope they sell. I hope they find a new owner. I hope somebody else comes into Buffalo
Some young,
and
cool guy.
saves them.
Yeah.
Because they are an absolute embarrassment. There's no other way to look at it,
I
man.
know, man.
It's embarrassing.
They're top in all sports franchise, a big four, in the U.S.
You miss the playoffs again every year.
How do you sell that to people? Like it's tough, man. If you miss the playoffs a couple of years here, like, you gotta get people to come downtown.
You're worried
man.
about St. Louis missing the playoffs for 3 years in a row.
Yeah. Big time
They
worried.
can't miss for 3 years in a row.
Could you imagine?
And we're talking like, how many years has it been for Buffalo?
And there's not much money up there. Like there's,
Dude.
like how do you sell that?
So the owner's like, I just get me out of here, man. I've tried like 7 different people. I got all these hockey people telling me
Yeah.
who I should hire as my next GM. And I take their advice.
Is there one
I
guy
take
that's been there the
their
whole time?
advice who I should hire as the next coach.
Who's been there the whole time that's in charge of the most things? And look at him and evaluate what he's doing wrong, maybe. I don't know. That is, it's weird.
Again, you miss the playoffs.
Yeah. And people, they still support you.
And everyone they trade goes on to have success.
I know. Look at their team in 2017. Look at their lineup. It's all freaking Stanley Cup winners now.
Just miss again.
Reinhardt, shit.
We'll figure it out
Keep going.
eventually.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That can't happen here, man. I'll tell you that right now. Shit, the Cardinals go through a couple years slump. People are really not going down to the games.
Blues got to win tomorrow night.
They got to win, man. This is
Tonight,
going on
actually, when this
tonight.
comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They put themselves in a weird jam.
What's more likely, the Blues
winning?
lose or Calgary gets 3 points over the next 2 games?
That's going to be tough for them because they're playing, L.A. and Vegas. Are
Vegas
they
at
playing-
home, on the road at L.A. Both those teams know
don't
what they're
care.
doing now,
Yeah.
playoff time. It's going to be the last game of the season for L.A. No one's going to
Probably.
want to get hurt.
No, I know. And they'll probably play an American League team.
Maybe.
I don't know how you could do that.
Well,
How many people you can call up?
you get call-ups. You
How
only
many?
get
With your
4
salary cap,
call-ups.
like, what do you do?
Well, you
can't-
only get 4 call-ups, so
But people can get injured. Emergency call-ups. I don't know.
emergency. Everyone's an emergency.
Everybody's hurt, and then they're not. You know what I mean?
So what's
I don't
more
know.
likely?
It's going to be I think Calgary could win those games.
Okay.
The
What about
Blues-
Utah coming in here and beating St.
Yeah,
Louis?
Clayton Keller coming into St. Louis like he always does and score.
That team has had the Blues numbers
Puts a
before.
4-point night up like he's done before. Yeah, okay. Every time Clayton Keller comes into St. Louis, he dominates.
Mm-hmm.
Important games, doesn't matter. He dominates here, dude.
Okay.
I wonder what the line is, actually.
Oh, you betting on it?
Oh, hell nah. I can't bet, dude. Can't do that. If I get into gambling,
I think
would
we
my
should- I
addictive
think we should
personality
try
take
it.
me to a bad place?
I think we should try it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's just try it. Let's go in small. Do you know that
I'm going to start
Do
gambling.
you know that
I don't know. I'm just not into
who
it.
was our sponsor that we had
Did we
a
have
few years back? We had a gambling sponsor.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
And
did.
I bet on there. I won like several $100s on a couple of prop bets at the Super Bowl, and I could never figure out how to like withdraw the money. It's like still sitting in there.
Andy doesn't spend that much money. He's not gambling. I'll tell you that right now.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Gambling? No.
Not spending
Until
a lot
it
of
is.
money.
No, I know. But don't act like you're throwing money down and
But you
gambling.
know
You're
what?
not doing it.
I would spend a lot of money. I do spend a lot of money, and I would spend a lot of money on myself
You
if
spend-
my kids and everybody
You
else
spend a
around
lot
me
of money
didn't
about-
take
on
all
your
my
family.
money. Yeah,
There it is.
they take all my money.
Because you're a good dad and mom.
Dude, that's like disrespectful to Lori.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Because
She's-
you're saying that.
No,
like,
I'm not. I'm saying that you do a lot. You just do a lot because you have a lot going on.
Uh-huh.
And you put a lot on your plate.
She took all 3 kids to school.
I know she
today.
did. I saw the pictures of Chloe when they went on that trip and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
She's busy, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm giving you a compliment.
No, you're
Why
not.
don't you take compliments?
That's not.
I don't get compliments from you.
That's disrespecting.
No, it's not. You just do a lot. It's all
Laurie, my
good.
wife.
Who cares? You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. You got 3 kids. They're all doing shit.
Mhm.
Ty's fucking traveling at 8 years old. Like, you're traveling with Ty at 8 years old to Vancouver and shit like that. Like, you put a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
You're a good daddy.
Okay.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
Now, if I had some sort of horrible problem I need to call Andy, I know he's not going to listen. Like, I just know he's.
That's not
I'll
true.
literally look on Twitter and he's tweeting while I'm telling him about my mother dying.
Oh my God. You shouldn't tell the people
I'm just
that.
telling you. But
What do you think Rory did to celebrate
Rory?
last night?
dude, he was crying. Dude, I've never seen anybody be that emotional on the golf course. They're
I
usually
have.
so like, yeah, Tiger's like, yeah, yeah. But like Rory's like,
He just won the.
he fucking felt like he was.
I think
fucking,
he had been criticized.
I know.
That was probably
awesome.
the #1 tournament to win.
He stood his ground he stood up for the PGA. Didn't
Yes.
fucking take fucking $1 billion from Liv. He did
Yeah.
all that stuff. He got ridiculed for it. And then he couldn't
Were
win.
all the big dogs in this tournament still? Like,
Yeah.
are the Liv guys allowed to come back? And
I think so. Yeah, and the big ones. Yep.
Tiger hurt again.
Yeah, here's Achilles. He's done. I mean, he's with
Why is
the
it-
True Love.
Oh,
What's her name?
Trump love.
Trump Love. She literally was dating a Saudi prince.
So what does that
That's
mean?
true love right there.
Okay,
when
no.
you date a Saudi fucking prince,
So break that
as
down.
an American
break
woman,
that down.
it's just the most ridiculous thing. Like that guy's fucking has 50 fucking wives, dude. He fucking does what he
really?
wants.
The
Like,
Saudi prince?
It's just, how can you think he loves you?
How much money?
How can you think that? How
So-
can you think that? It's the most ridiculous
What, do you
money
think, you
grab.
think she loved him?
Fuck no. He was probably, how could you think they're sitting on the couch fucking watching TV, eating popcorn with the doggies laying on them?
Right.
Are you
Let's
out of
stay
your
in tonight.
fucking mind?
Let's stay in tonight and just
I know.
cuddle.
What do you want to watch tonight?
Yeah.
We got this.
Let's binge
Are you
watch.
like, how is that even a real
Hey,
thing?
You want to cook dinner
What do you
together?
want to do? I'm going to cook tonight. I'm cooking tonight. Like, what are we doing? It's just fake. It's just-
why don't you do the salad and I'll do the...
And so it's like, Tiger, like, how about you, Tiger, go find some fucking cute young 30-year-old,
He did.
29-year-old. No.
He did.
That's fucking no maintenance. Didn't have a rap sheet of just psychopath.
Big golf family.
Dating like literally like freaking mobsters and shit. Like she's just like, now she has you. Like why would you even want that?
Because he likes
No, Andy.
the freaks.
It is no, but find the cute little freak. That'll lick her ass
Oh
and do whatever
my
you. I'm just
God.
telling you.
Oh
Whatever.
my-
Whatever. I'm just telling you. That's cool as shit.
She'll do what?
She'll go downtown, Chinatown, whatever. I'm just saying. And like this girl's gonna be snooty and
What do you
snobby.
think?
Like, man, why would you want that? Find a badass bitch that fucking loves you and do anything, and you have fun, and she's hot
Well,
as shit.
maybe
and
he
she's
did.
not. Yeah.
How much money does
Saudi
the
prince.
Saudi prince have?
Oh, trillions.
No. From what? Oil?
Shit. Yeah.
Damn, must be nice.
Saudi Arabia is gigantic.
like-
they have this thing called the wall that they're building, and it's all a big mirror for like 300 miles to like through the
Is
desert.
it like
And it's just one big connected like strip mall
to
of
keep
people living.
to keep people out of the country?
No, it's like the most beautiful. Like it's supposed to be this luxurious beauty.
And people live in the wall?
They're building it, Maddie. You know what I'm talking about?
Do
homeboy?
people in Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia have money?
Fuck yeah.
Or just
Some do.
just the Saudi
There's a big
prince?
gap. There's a big gap. Saudi Arabia is different. Dubai is different.
Is it westernized?
Now you go to yes.
They've got
there's people-
they've got plumbing and shit.
And Saudi Arabia is very wealthy, dude. Beautiful. Probably no crime.
Don't
Dude.
they,
They're
like,
strict.
behead
man.
you and shit?
Well, yeah.
You think that prince is like
Yeah, but there's no petty crime. No one's robbing you.
because of that?
No one's pulling up and stealing your phone with a
Shit,
gun in
because
Saudi
of that.
Arabia. No, dude, it's so strict there. But if you mess up, you have drugs or anything. Ooh, boy.
You're done. So you think the Saudi prince, if he didn't like somebody, would be like, kill him,
Yeah, for sure. That's more than you think when it comes to that.
kill him,
There's more of that than you think.
get him.
Yeah, that goes down in our
Probably
backyard.
scared the hell out of
That
Trump.
shit goes down in our back. No. I would say no. Saudi Arabia is
His
scared of Trump for
girlfriend,
what?
his girlfriend, her.
Oh yeah, he's probably like, I don't give a fuck. You know, that was
He was like,
John
what's your
Jr.'s
name
wife,
again?
and they have a cute daughter.
Who's a golfer?
She's fucking actually. She seems pretty normal
Yeah.
for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she seems pretty freaking normal. Like
And she's a golfer.
yeah, that DeChambeau I think golfed with her too. He golfed with Trump. It was hilarious on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, he's cool. Bryson DeChambeau.
I mean,
Monster.
You're,
He's like this. That
Hey.
thing goes
Yeah.
fucking 400, baby. Maybe not that far. I don't know, but anyway.
That Forbert's had a tough go, man, because his dad died this year.
Oh no, the kid that got
yeah.
over the bone broken.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then
shit.
in practice, Cam had a knee-on-knee collision, missed 17 games.
Oh yeah.
And he comes back.
His daddy
and now,
died though.
Yeah, 62 years old.
What happened? 62.
Colon cancer.
Wow, he's older.
His dad?
Yeah. How old is this kid?
Forbert?
Yeah.
Probably 30.
Okay, he's 30. Yeah, 62. Yeah, that makes sense. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Probably maybe a little older than that. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Let's look it up. You always ask me how old all these guys are. Like, I'm
Sorry.
supposed to
No,
just-
my bad.
you know.
If you
Big
don't
shout
know,
out
it's
to
no
Mitchy
sermon.
Marner, by the way, because he could get to 100 points.
Yeah.
For the first time in his career.
Robert Thomas can get to 80.
Okay.
First time that's happened since what? Who?
He's gotten 80 points before.
Besides him.
I mean, Dimitra, maybe?
There it is. Yeah.
You tried to get me on that.
No.
You weren't going to get me.
No, I shouldn't. That's Andy's go-to right there. If there was anything else, I'd tell you what. But I set you up
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So Forbert, I don't like saying his last name because it's like a Forbort. It's like a Forbert. Derek Forbert, he is 33.
Okay.
So his dad
Yeah.
was like 29.
When he had,
When he
yeah,
had
that's yeah. I
So
was
then he
kinda
missed
looking at-
17
I
games.
thought he was
Then he
younger.
gets punched in the face, orbital bone. He's a free agent.
Yeah, he'll sign somewhere. He'll be all right, man. That just sucks. Your dad dies, man. But it's still 62. You had a good run with him.
Do you like
saw a
all
lot of your
the-
hockey stuff? You
All
know,
the chirping we're seeing with like Brad Marchand and everything, and like his teammates and all that stuff. Kind of having fun. Everybody's
it does-
everybody's a rat. Everybody's a scumbag.
it's fine.
hmm
Doesn't bother me. Is it funny? I don't know, but it doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
At least it's kind of cool. It's different.
Can I just say it? I hate to say it.
You know,
Florida's not as interesting to me when Matthews not in the lineup.
100%. That is a no doubt about.
I
well,
mean, they're just not as fun
no.
to watch.
no, they're on cruise control right now.
Like when Matthews in the lineup, the game's kind of unpredictable. You just don't. It can go in any direction. There could be a
it
melee.
usually gets wild.
There could be a line brawl. It could be
Mean.
a skill fest.
Could be anything you want. You're right. I'm excited about actually Ottawa too.
So he is their best. I mean, Barkov is their best player, I guess. But Matthews right there, man. They don't win without him. I'd be shocked if they could win without him.
They can win the first. Who are they playing the first round?
Tampa. Who are you going to take in that series?
I don't know.
McDavid's going to get to 100 points too, and he's only played like 67 games
He just found his way into the lineup against the Blues the other night
and looked
and
unbelievable.
just dominated.
I
And-
hadn't seen the
and
Blues
won the game for
give
him.
up odd man rushes and breakaways. They were stretching the Blues out.
Did we know he was playing? I remember like I was doing radio for the game and we didn't. All of a sudden he's like, "Oh, he's there."
Yeah.
No one said anything. He just popped right back in the lineup and went 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour.
Dominated.
He's like, I'm healthy. If he's going to
Looked
play
better-
like
looked
that,
better than everybody else.
if
times
he's going
10.
to play like that, Edmonton
Damn boy,
may end up back in the final.
it's taking games over.
If they can get
One
some
guy.
goaltending.
But he got back
I'm not
too.
saying I don't know if they'll get back to the final, but they should certainly. They got a lot of injuries actually.
They
but
do.
They should get back to, they should get past L.A. L.A. I just can never take that serious, but they're a good team.
I don't know, man. Why they're
They're a good
pretty
team.
good. They're good up
They're
up
good.
the middle, dude.
They're good everywhere.
Yeah, they look good when I watched them.
Mm-hmm. So
And the
you didn't-
Blues were rocking and rolling at the time, and there was a toe-to-toe
Do
battle.
the Blues get in?
Yeah.
Oh, you just said it's
I would
more
s-
likely that Calgary gets 3 out of
Oh,
4
Hey,
versus
the Blues still win. Oh
or
no,
what's it more likely? The Blues lose, or Calgary gets 3 out of 4? Or you say, like, oh, Calgary will get 3 out of 4.
well, I mean, I think I don't know. It's up. Everything's up for grabs. I think
You
the
just
Blues.
never know.
I
And,
think the-
you're telling me Utah is going to come in and Color's going to have 4 points,
Yeah, I know.
and the Blues are going to lose, and then Calgary's going to get 3 out of 4. If that happens, the
Oh,
Blues don't get into the
God,
playoffs.
I know.
And Cam's like, oh, the Blues will get in. You just broke
I
down
just
why
think
they're
that-
not getting in.
I think. Well, I'm just breaking down that could be a possibility. Like they could beat
Can
Vegas.
they beat Winnipeg?
They could beat LA.
Can they beat Winnipeg?
The Blues?
Mhm.
Oh man, the way Winnipeg played the other night. God. They're really good. They are really good.
They
man.
won the President's
I know.
Trophy.
They didn't win, but they won.
Is that a blessing or a curse?
It's whatever. They're rocking and rolling right now, dude. Even watching them the other night playing against the Blues, although the Blues were just not on their game, looked very sluggish in that game. Winnipeg, all 4 lines, and Adam Lowry's line, shutting down everybody. Mean Andy in front of the net, pushing guys
I know.
on the floor, check hitting guys, standing.
Now they got Tana there too. Tana's blocking everything.
He's blocking shots, cross-checking guys, getting penalty, taking a couple penalties. That's fine, but playing mean, like they got a mean aspect to him. Morrissey's like do. I don't know. They're
Blues,
really
listen, and they got Parayko back, which is a good sign. But they are not the same team without Holloway, so they got to find a way, man.
They do. I thought Snuggerud looked pretty good the other night.
He does.
He had a couple
He's going to
chances.
be a good player.
He's going to be okay. He made some good plays. It was a weird game.
He's going to be a good player. That can't be easy just to jump into a lineup like that.
I know. I'd be like, hey, keep up with the big boys. Not to mention, he's not used to playing game after game after game.
No.
He's like, whoa, I'm getting hit every single shift. He is getting hit. And all of a sudden, you got to play another night. You don't have a week off.
Dude, he went from playing Patrick Kane to McKinnon and McCarr to Winnipeg, one of the best team in the league.
Good, wake up. Let's go.
To McDavid.
Good. Right in the fire, baby.
He had Crosby in
the mix, too. Yep. No, good.
Welcome to the NHL.
Let's go. That's what you want, man.
Frozen 4 came to St. Louis. I want to give a shout-out to Western Michigan Broncos. Yep. They win their first ever Frozen 4. I love being down
Jamal
there.
Mayers,
it's a lot
Jeff
of fun.
Lecchio.
Yeah, Jeff Lecchio, yep. Jamal Mayers.
Who else?
Glenn Healy.
Glenn.
Keith Jones.
Keith Jones, baby. Let's go.
Derek Schooley.
Derek Schooley, that's where I started.
Yeah.
Rick and Derek Schooley, right there at Fenton Farm.
So, Fenton Farm. That's Forum for those of you.
Fenton Forum. In Fenton.
So, big shout out to Western Michigan. And it's funny because I went to a dinner with the commissioner of the USHL earlier in the week. Great guy. They got a lot of great things happening with the USHL, but there was a scout there who, I don't want to say which team he's with and whatnot, but head of like one of the top amateur scouts, very successful organization, who said to me at dinner that Western Michigan was going to win this. Like nobody else was saying that. Like everybody's like, oh, it's Denver or Boston.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's like, no, they got the best team. And sure as shit, they ended up winning it. But I didn't like the criticism St. Louis was taking. I didn't love that.
Was it about the first game?
First game. Can I say this? Because I was down there. I mean, when you start a game at 4:00 and it goes into double overtime, and then you have to wait another hour before the second game even begins. I mean, that second game is starting really, really late. It's a Thursday. NCAA should have those 2 games held on a Saturday, and the championship game should be on a Monday. If you're going to have back-to-back games, don't do it on a Thursday, man, where you want kids to come down and watch the games. They can't stay till 11 o'clock at night on a school night to watch 2 hockey games, and then you got to keep them entertained for an hour between games. So I actually went up to Walt's box between games to hang out, whatever.
Yeah. Did you start bullshitting them?
Oh, yeah. We were having fun,
It's
though,
a long night, man.
It's a long night.
Yeah.
So they still had like 16,000 fans. And let's also look at the teams that were here. Like Western Michigan had the most fans of the 4 teams. And they're not Michigan State. They're not Michigan. They're not North Dakota. They're not Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They're not one of these historic programs that just travel a shit ton of people. But they were well represented, and I'll give them a shout out. Boston University doesn't travel very well. Denver doesn't travel very well. Penn State didn't travel nearly as well as I thought that they would because the fans there have experience supporting big-time sporting events with their history and football and whatnot, but they didn't travel very well. So it is what it is. But, you know, if you just expect just St. Louis to fill the building, I mean, typically you rely on the 4 schools that are competing in the Frozen 4 to travel and bring some fans. And you didn't have that. The last game on Saturday was a sold-out bar.
Yeah,
man.
it seemed like
a lot of people there. Great atmosphere.
Was it good games?
Great energy. Great games.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, pump the brakes a little bit.
What are you talking about?
Because there's a lot of stuff on Twitter I'm seeing.
Okay.
And let me just say this, though. St. Louis in general, the people who put this on, like a lot of people like put a lot of work into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
God, yeah, dude.
And you got to have the support of the 4 schools. Like it can't just
Yeah.
be on the city. Like if the game was held in Minnesota or LA or Vegas or wherever, and they didn't pack the house, I wouldn't be like, oh, Vegas doesn't. I'd be like, oh, the schools that are competing in the game, like where the fuck are the fans? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you, man.
So you got a lot of people who put in a lot of work and shit. And they just had a couple of other events here, man.
It didn't look that.
No.
It looked okay.
I know everyone wants to be in like a sunny. Put it in fucking Florida every year. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know. Put
But-
everything in Florida.
Put everything in Florida.
All-star
But if you're
game.
going to have it in different hockey markets, this is a great hockey market.
No doubt.
There's a lot of people in the NHL that come from St. Louis. There's a lot of people that work in hockey that come from St. Louis. St. Louis is a thriving youth hockey market. Like in comparison to the rest of the country, they're right there, top 10. So it's a great hockey market. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't love like all the college hockey like some of these other guys just like are like just having orgasms over fucking college hockey and whatever. But
Yeah.
they still had over 16,000 fans
a
on
lot.
a Thursday night when the game's going to fucking 11 o'clock.
There it is.
Okay. And they had to put on a chaser event. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of days before
Yep.
that. A lot of work to,
Yep.
put on that
They
event.
all coexist. Yep.
And they had a PWHL event that was here that took manpower to put on,
Yeah.
the event, even though that's not going to sell out, whatever. I think they had
I'm
10,000
glad you brought
fans
this up.
down there. So I'm just saying, like, it is what it is. People need to understand when you are critical of something like that, like the factors that go into it. It is what it is. Just chill. It's
I
all
get
good.
it. I agree with you, man. 100%.
Although Western Michigan was upset because they put the wrong logo on the ice.
I saw that. Now you tweeted that too, didn't you?
No, I retweeted. I'm like, what's wrong about it? I was curious.
It
I'm
was
looking
facing
at
the
it.
other way, right?
I think they didn't have like a yellow outline or something.
We'll figure it out. Like, come on.
I think they had
There's
to
only 4 of them.
I know.
This happens
get
like
the right logo.
Come on. This isn't like changing every day.
I didn't know what happened with that, but they fixed it. All right, let's get to Olie Kolzig.
Big boy.
Olie the goalie, man. We wanted to get somebody on, obviously, to talk about Ovi. Big shout out to Ovi, breaking the record, big
Yeah.
celebration. Was that before last week's episode? Or I think it was, yeah. I think it was over the weekend.
No, I think we talked about
Yeah,
it.
we did. Yeah. So Kolzig, obviously, great career. I mean, won over 300 games.
God, he was with Washington for so
Nobody
long.
will ever break Marty Brodeur's record.
No.
though, by the way. I
That's
mean, there's
tough.
too many good things have to happen.
Yeah.
You got to be on good teams, and you got to be. I mean, you got to be on good teams every year to win that many games, and you got to be a great goalie, and you got to have a
Great defense.
great defense.
So you only allow like 20 shots a game sometimes, which
Yeah.
happened a lot with Marty.
Mm-hmm.
He would just seal the deal.
But he would make great saves all the time.
God,
too.
yeah. He would invent saves.
Yeah.
Scarpian.
The Scarpian.
Remember that? He did that like late on, I think
What
like
was that? Like
2000.
the 2-pad stack.
No, he came up. He was on his face, and somebody tried to chip the puck right over him. And he put his leg up
he
like
lifted his
yoink.
leg up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Just great flexibility. He just
I know,
won a
and
big
he's a
member
big guy.
guest, by the way. He
Yeah,
and
he's a really good golfer.
he and Murph, big shout out.
That's why we need to be able to golf.
Tell me about it.
We need
Because
clubs.
even Marty the other day, I
need-
saw him at the Frozen Four. We were shooting the shit, and he's like, "You do golf?"
He ain't asking you to golf.
Everybody
I don't
asks me,
Actually,
"Do you golf?"
You'll hurt the
He's
brand.
so fucking cool, though. He
Totally
would take
cool.
us golfing. I'm
I
telling
know
you.
you. I think he's at.
And I have golfed with
He's a-
him. He came to the AAA Blues golf tournament a few years back, and I wasn't in his foursome, but we were like right next to each other the whole fucking day.
I think he's a member at a lot of places.
Yeah, well, you
You
should
know.
be.
Yeah, I know. So,
What
Wait.
course would you belong to if you could?
well, St. Albans.
Okay. You like that course the best?
Yeah. Well, it's,
Yeah.
when you're in the backyard,
Mhm.
it's nice.
Is that old lady next to you? Is she a member?
Why are you
Is she a member?
mean?
Is she a
The
member?
Coug? She is.
Kate's mom. Is Kate's mom a
I don't know.
member?
You know what I mean?
She's not actually. She doesn't look old at all. She's a beautiful lady, and I'm just joking. She's not listening, is she?
They listen.
Oh,
I
God.
told you that earlier.
God.
I told you that last week.
You know I'm kidding. when I
no,
say
she doesn't give a shit. They're cool as shit.
she looks just like Kate. Kate's twin.
Yeah, I know. They do look alike.
All right, listen. I got my creatine. This is something I'm doing right now.
yeah, baby.
I'm
Uh-oh.
drinking creatine, and this is so easy with First Form. Firstform.com/Cam and Strick. When you bring your creatine, man, it has the scoop in there exactly how much you need.
That's it.
So you don't have to like measure. It's just like one scoop, dude. Put that in some water, and you're good to go, man. It brings that water into the muscles, and allows you to add that extra muscle and strength.
It helps when you work out too, though.
I really think you have to work out when you do
You
it.
just got to do something. Like,
No,
just
you
be
got to
active.
work
You
out.
got to go.
Maybe some push-ups or
Well,
something.
yeah, push-ups are the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are the easiest thing to do.
I
You can do them
wouldn't-
anywhere around your house. It doesn't take that long. You do 20 at a time. You can do 50 at a time. You can do 100 at a time.
It's not going to make you fat if you don't
No.
or something like that if you don't work out with it. But in reality, if you're going to take creatine, you got to be working out.
No doubt.
I mean, but there's a lot of stuff you don't really have to work out, man. They got everything there at firstform.com.
This is my jam right here. Every morning I take at least one of these.
Dude.
Look at these packets right here. They
Mhm.
got a little bit of everything for you.
These are like Gatorades, but they're better.
They're better. Yeah, there's no sugar, any of that crap.
So I put these in Ty's water bottle.
This,
dude.
yes, you just pour it in. So if your kids
Yeah.
are playing sports, just take a little packet. I always use
Show that packet.
It's a little packet like this. Look at me. And you can put them in your bag.
Different
and it's like,
flavors, too.
And this is lemon lime right here. They got different flavors. But then I crush this bad boy up. And
Lemon
it just,
lime.
listen, I told you guys this. When you get
It's
sick,
lemonade.
when you get sick,
Yeah.
water doesn't quench your thirst.
No.
You need something. You need a packet. You need you need a lot more electrolytes in your body. And this certainly does it.
Yeah.
Takes away hangovers too, by the way.
Tom Yum soup is the flu cure.
Well, that's not first form.
Hit me up. I know, but just Tom Yum soup. Dude, shake that up a little bit more.
No, you don't have to.
You know, you don't have to.
It's not that-
Lemonade
Yeah,
flavor.
yeah.
They've got strawberry. They've got citrus. That's awesome. Creatine, all the apparel, anything you're looking for, man. Use our link.
Energy drinks. Boom.
Yeah.
Right there.
Incredible. And I got this shaker too, man, in military colors. See? It's in green. Army green.
We see that, Andy.
Yeah. So when I fucking walk around with this,
Yeah,
people are like,
shaking it everywhere.
He's
Hey, yeah, if
It's
you take protein, I've smelled the nastiest some of these shakers that are left behind at the gym.
yeah.
When you have that protein in there for
Ugh,
3
that's
days
the
in your
worst.
car. Oh God. Always clean it out.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we got these jerseys from the Jersey Generator, by the way.
Mhm.
Jersey Generator.
That's awesome.
Say that 3 times fast.
Jersey Generator.
JerseyGenerator.com. Check out the website. If you got a men's league team, man, let them build your jerseys for you. They'll create the logo. You can get all different types of jerseys. This is what we went with.
Look at
And,
this.
I should maybe hang up the look at that.
Oh yeah. Everybody recognizes that.
and
Strickland number 9.
and I have the captaincy here. I'm the captain
Yeah.
of the team. Cam got the assistant captain.
We do have the
but
funniest
these are
logo
great
going.
though, man. And you can get a little bit of a deal if you're a first time buyer. You can use first time buyer now. First time buyer, you can use the promo code Andy10. That's the promo code
Andy 10.
Andy10.
What's mine?
Cam10.
So you can pick or choose Cam or
So
Andy.
we're having a
Which one do you want to
competition.
choose?
Are you going to use Andy10 or Cam10? And we'll give our results here coming up soon. So you can go with mine. I would highly recommend you going with mine. Either way, you're in good shape with the JerseyGenerator.com and Mark out of Montreal, the entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Bolt Sports, man. Start that stick handling
Yeah.
with the dangles, man. They got the dangles. We were doing the dangles in the basement all weekend long. Dangles. You got the snipes with the targets. Everything lights up and it looks nice. You got the app. Easy just to figure out through the app. And then your kid can like play against his buddies when they're at home. Keep your score. Get all the high
Compete
scores.
against each other.
You can compete against somebody in like a different country, like China, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they could be in China, Japan,
The
Switzerland.
Philippines.
You know, I think I saw them playing the Women's Worlds on NHL Network this morning. I was hoping to see some highlights, but the Women's Worlds, there's nothing wrong with that, actually. But it was
You did
Japan,
not
Sweden.
want it.
Wasn't Team USA.
You did not want that on. did
Wasn't
you?
Team USA. I put Team
You
USA
did
on.
not want that on.
They got the e-cones too,
I
which
watched
light
it.
up, and it helps you with agility and speed and whatnot too. Oh, did you watch the
Yes,
whole
I
game?
did. Of
And
course
who
I did.
won?
The women's team did. They tied, actually.
I see some.
That's exactly what I want. I want everybody to tie.
Very physical.
Real physical. Well, they could hit.
Yeah.
You know,
They can in the WPHL. I think they can hit.
I don't
So-
think they can.
Go Bolt Sports, man. Sam, everybody over there doing great shit. Boltsports.ca is the website. But you can check out their Instagram too. They got a lot of good shit.
They can't hit in the PHL. Can they?
WPHL, I think they can. It's
I
very
think
physical.
there is some hits
Yeah.
that go down. How can you not?
Illinois
playing that
Recovery
fast.
Center.
Right there in Swansea, Illinois, baby. Right there in Swansea, Illinois. Jacob Miller, Eric Conley, Chrissy Pondoff. They will help you. There's a bed waiting for you. They'll go through the process. Every time I go over there, I look at everybody. You can always see who's been there for a week and who's been there for a couple weeks because you just look fresh again.
Yes.
Your eyes are open. You just look good. You're regrouped. You're recharged. They will help you. That's the Illinois Recovery Center right there in Swansea, Illinois,
IRC.
where Clayton Keller is from.
Yeah.
and he's playing the Blues in a very important game coming up here, and he might, unfortunately,
Cam picked the Blues to lose.
I know. What was I saying there?
He picked the Blues to lose.
Now I'm kind of scared now.
Oh my God!
I don't want them to, man. I want them to be in a playoff.
Christie was at the Frozen Four.
Yeah,
he was hanging out, doing his thing.
yeah, he's everywhere.
Illinois Recovery Center. There's a bed waiting for you, though. Honestly, if you know somebody that needs help or somebody in the family,
Reach out to us.
Like, this is the best place to go.
It is.
Because of what?
Well, they care about you. And I know
that's
these
what
guys
the people
personally,
who
too.
in there.
Just
who
so you
say
guys know,
that.
I know all of them personally, too. And they are doing the right thing. They've all been through hell and back.
And if you have a friend or
It's not just
family
a
member
doctor.
that goes into IRC, like, we'll go visit them, too. Go hang
Yeah,
out.
I visit them anytime he wants.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Blue Note Roofing, gutter, soffit, fascia,
Fight.
roofing, siding.
Man, oh, man.
I asked him what he's dealing with mostly right now after the storms, and he said
Gutters.
roofing and siding.
Oh, yes, I
Yeah.
do, too, yeah.
So,
There was some hardcore
Blue Note
win.
Roofing. Check that out and
Yep.
check it out today. Truefloat.ca. Cam finally put something up on
Well, it's finally
Instagram,
nice,
and that blew up.
yeah.
I'm proud to announce TrueFloat and Hat Launch have both re-up with us, Cam. So that is real positive news. 99.8% of our clients that we have here on the Cam Strick podcast renew.
I'll tell you that that day was the first like really nice day in a long time because it was like rainy.
You just ignored
And it was-
everything I said.
I know. I'm just telling them about TrueFloat.
Okay, but
No,
I was
know.
saying that everybody renews. So if you ever want to come on board with us,
Yeah, of course.
feel free to reach out. But go ahead.
But that was a really nice day, and I'm like, I was just chilling outside, and I had my nice chair
Mhm.
lounged out with the cute little logo on there. They did a really good job with that, by
Yes,
the way.
they did.
And then I heated it up because it was a little chilly.
Yeah.
And my cooler
Yeah.
with my beer.
Tell them what really happened.
What?
That I told you that you to go out there. Actually, I don't even know if I told you to put that up on Instagram. You may have done that on your own.
I think I did that on my own.
Yeah.
Well, it was a nice day, and it made sense.
Because
That's why
when you
Indy's the
wear the
captain.
C, you got to let them know sometimes. Truefloat.ca, water season, river season's around the corner. I know all about
River
that.
season?
I'll be on the river.
That's funny.
It is-
yeah, probably getting harassed. You
Rivers-
gotta watch that.
You don't know about river season? We should go on a float trip this.
I don't want to do it. I've been
What
on
do
the
you
river
mean?
because I used to have a boat on there, and
So
I just I
what?
don't have. I don't,
Get a
it doesn't give
kayak
the
and have
satis-
fun for the
it's-
week.
No, it's not the.
Or for the.
I don't want to kayak.
few
I'm
hours.
kind of. I feel like I'm spoiled right now. I would like to go back.
You're not
on
taking
a
a boat on those rivers anyway.
Yeah, you can, dude. They're high right now. Are you kidding?
Not the
Shit, you
ones
could go up for 50
in
miles.
Steelville, man. Where you're-
Staleville. No, you not. Those are a little bit more.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about.
No,
where you
I'm
take
talking
the
about the
kayak.
Merrimack and
It's very
stuff.
shallow.
I'm just in a weird spot
You
with
can
that.
walk around the whole
When
day.
you had a boat, for that long,
Mhm.
and you just explored every inch of that
Yeah,
river.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna go on a kayak. The last time I went on a kayak, I told you I flipped it with Kate, and we got stuck in like
Well,
this thing. The guy
okay,
came up
you
and
don't
said,
know
"Hey,
what
you're Cam
doing.
Neely."
You
I go,
don't-
"No, yeah, I am."
You don't know what you're doing.
I know. I
Cam
was
Neely.
wasted. I stole up. Bam.
That
Just
was
like
your-
that, by the way. If you're in a
Yeah.
kayak like that and you stand up, like at the end of the float, it was really long, and you stand up for 2 seconds, you
Yeah.
can flip that thing. And
Truefloat.ca.
Man,
Get
it's
one of these
brutal.
coolers, man. We've had pictures of them here
yeah,
in recent episodes on my Instagram, on Cam's Instagram. They put your logo on the cooler or on the heated chair, on the cups, whatever you need. And, they're great for golf tournaments and auction items and stuff like that, too, if you want to put your company logo on there. Truefloat.ca. From where?
they're from Alberta, baby. Shit kickers. Let's go.
Yeti versus Truefloat.
Well, Yetis they're soft. They are soft. We like to call them pussies.
Can you say that?
I don't know. Am I suspended? Suspended for that? That's crazy, man.
I might suspend
Guys
you
would
for-
be so like the guys what they were saying back in the day. Holy cow!
Oh
You're the
my
captain.
God, on the ice.
It's unbelievable what would happen to them now.
Hey, Jersey Generator, make us some T-shirts that look like this
Yeah,
too,
no
with my
doubt.
C on there. I want some
These are
T-shirts.
it's the
Mark.
funniest. It is funny.
I just like being the C. I like being the captain.
I know you
honestly.
do.
There's something about that. Cam at Bellman, you get no,
Swinging dicks, baby. No,
but you do get sushi and flavored water at Bellman, baby,
right there in
located
Troy,
where
Troy, Missouri.
Buick GMC on one side
I
of the
might
street.
need a new truck, dude.
Okay,
Man.
let me.
I know.
Okay,
I think I want another truck.
Okay, let me.
Mine's getting old, dude.
Let me handle
It's
that
getting
for you.
old.
Okay, well,
It's getting old.
Let me handle that. Buick GMC on one
Getting
side
old.
of the street.
you know.
Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on the other side, Cam. It's a stone's throw away.
Hell yeah.
Why do you always say no swinging dicks? I don't understand.
Because when your wife can go up there and look for cars and not get creeped out by anybody working there. Because you know when you go to those places, they all come out and they're all just fucking cocky and
I got her, man.
I remember that woman. I used to beat you up in high school.
I got her, dude.
Beat you up in fucking high school. When was that?
Hey, I got that blonde girl out there.
You got these girls out here and over there. Let me sell you this thing. I did some tip-top shape. Don't trust you.
Used to wrestle him in high school.
Used to wrestle him in high school. You should kick his ass.
Bellman, baby. Say hi to Danny boy.
No swinging dicks. Hey, Danny. Kenny. Dale.
Dale.
All y'all. Back to work now.
Bellman, baby. Olie Kolzig. Olie the goalie. On this edition of the Cam and Strick Podcast.
Yeah, baby.
The Cam and Strick Podcast is brought to you by First Form, baby. Use our link and do it today. www.firstform.com/camandstrick.
Get jacked now. They are the real deal.
Get that protein, check out the apparel, eat those bars, and drink those energy drinks. Firstform.com/camandstrick.
Yeah.
Now on to the interview.
Are you in a brand new house? It looks new. Did you just move in?
He's got the thing in the
Or
back.
you've been living there for...
maybe probably 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Where are you? Are you up in the
you
Pacific Northwest? Or is that where you're at when you say Pacific time? Are you up? Okay.
Yeah,
Tri-Cities
Washington
area?
State.
Okay. I figured. How are you, man? Thanks for doing this. We
Not for
appreciate
long,
it.
though. We're going to move to northern Idaho in a couple of years.
Oh.
To Gazer Ranch?
Gazer?
No. Poor man's Gaza Ranch. We're going to go up to Sandpoint.
Okay.
Chaser talks about
I
that all
can't
the time
hang
down
with
here.
those people. I'm too old.
I know, man.
We try to get invited, but I think we have to
Actually, we
invite
just
ourselves.
got invited for 4th of July.
Yeah, you're right.
So you never know, man. The guys are always hanging out up there. So Southern Idaho versus Northern Idaho. Like, do you have kids? Like, how old are your kids right now? I know you have a couple, obviously.
They're all gone to school, and yeah, we're pretty much empty nesters.
Okay.
Hey, we just hit record and go, man, just so you know.
Exactly. So what are you up to now, man? I mean, I'm sure you're getting a lot of attention. Ovi scores. I mean, you put out like a viral tweet. Did you expect it to get that much attention?
I didn't, because I don't tweet that much, so I don't know how many people are following me. But I just wanted to show what kind of person Ovi was, and you know how much of a stat guy he is, and how much he follows the history of the game, and it just kind of went crazy.
Did you have more assists than Adam Oates? I guess Adam Oates never played with him there in Washington. I was going to say, you probably had more assists.
Assisted more than Oates did. You know what the funny thing is? The funnier stat is that Braden Holtby only has one assist.
I saw that.
And he was a much better puck handler than me and played with Ovi a lot longer. So I don't, that was a strange one.
Well, you had a golden assist in juniors.
You did.
Which I've never had a golden assist, just so you know. That's unbelievable.
I did a goal assist and a penalty. So I was the goalie version, I guess, of Gordie Howe.
Oh, man.
Who were those announcers? I mean, for junior hockey, those were like, I felt like they were on top of it. Did those guys go on to be like NHL announcers? I'm just curious. I'm watching the highlights this morning.
Kurt Williamson actually was our part-time bus driver. And then he, when he left, he ended up working for a radio station here in town in Tri-Cities. And, he didn't. I thought he was terrific on radio. And Tony Ott was. What did Tony end up doing? He's still living around here as well. But yeah, they never went on anywhere.
I love how because it was a turnover, or the guy picked off the pass in the neutral zone, or he just rimmed it down low, and you stopped it. Yeah. So I guess it was a 2-goal lead. You never had an opportunity or a chance like that in the NHL, or no?
I had one in the American League actually when I was playing in Rochester. We were in Hershey, the old Hershey Park Arena. And same type of thing happened, and I hit the outside of the post. That would have been pretty cool to do in Hershey.
And you had a couple fights. You kind of did it all.
You did everything.
I'm like watching you. I'm watching all your highlights. I'm like, my God. Was it bomb? Who grabbed you behind the net, though? Who's the big, tough lefty that grabbed you behind the net on one of those fights? And he started throwing those left bombs on you. And you got away, and you started fighting another goalie. God, who was that? Was it Baumgartner?
It was Belanger.
Belanger.
It was Belanger in Boston. And Francois Leroux for Pittsburgh. I don't know if you remember Francois.
He,
Oh, yeah.
he beat up
6'8".
Twister.
And both times I was actually helping out Dale Hunter. So Jesse got paired up with Dale because Craig Berube went after Don Sweeney, and
Oh, boy.
I remember Hans was just keep shaking his head that Chief always goes for those guys and leaves me with the tough guys. So anyway, we're in Pittsburgh, and I think it was a playoff game, and Hunts got into it with Francois Leroux, and I just came out trying to help Hunts, and I went in high, and I remember Francois just gave me a forearm right to the chest. I kind of fell between his legs and crawled up the backside, and then Hunts and I ended up taking him down. But yeah, I was probably more known for my puck stopping than the fighting part.
Man, so take us back. Like you got a really interesting background because you played for Germany. You got some South African descent as well, right? So how'd you end up in Canada or North America to, kind of, fall in love with the game of hockey?
So my buddy termed the phrase, I'm Germafricadian.
I like that.
So I was a German born in South Africa, grew up in Canada and work in the US. Well, now I'm American, but my dad was in the hotel business, and they're from Germany. And when they started, they were in Johannesburg. And my mom and him married, and I came along a couple years later, and we lived there for about 2 more years. And my dad got transferred up to Copenhagen. So he went there for a year, and he was with Westin Hotels, and then got transferred to Edmonton. And so we moved to Edmonton when I was just little older than 3 years old. And my dad grew up watching hockey. He never played; he was a soccer player, but he grew up watching the Olympics and really loved the sport. And then when we got to Canada, it was just natural to introduce me to the game. And the ironic thing is, when I started out playing, we were playing outdoor rinks in Edmonton, and you guys know what it's like in January up in Edmonton. It's pretty fucking cold, and
miserable.
God awful.
Playing outdoor rink is brutal.
Oh my God.
So, and back at those days, you rotate as a goaltender. Everybody plays goal once, and so the night I played, I don't remember it, but there was my mom took 8mm video of it, and guy came down on a breakaway, and I did not want to get hit by the puck, so I went and hid behind the net. And so the ironic thing is I end up having a pretty good NHL career as a goalie. But yeah, that was some good times.
I expected you to say you had like a 47 save shutout.
Yeah, I know. And
Your
a goal.
first ever game. You scored a goal, got in a fight, had an assist.
So the first game that I actually was a goalie, because our goalie didn't show up, so we needed somebody to play. I was 10 years old at the time, and I did have a shutout. I went in, I got a shutout, and everybody's patting me on the back. I thought, this is great, and I kind of stuck with it from then on. But yeah, it wasn't my first love. Let's just say that.
Olie, they call that pass the bag, like the little kid hockey teams, because they do rotate the goalies, and all the hockey dads are like, I don't want my kid to like playing goalie. This is like a nightmare. Please don't like it today, Go have the worst game of your life so you don't become a goalie.
Yeah, they're just in their mind, they're racking up all the costs of pads and skates and blocker glove, and and then having all the parents yell at you when they let in a bad goal.
Oh, exactly.
But when you moved to Edmonton, were you like, when you're a kid, we're like, who's this Wayne Gretzky guy? Like, he's everywhere. Everybody's talking about him.
Well,
Is that how you kind of got into
wasn't
it?
even playing, like, because the WHA, was that 1979 when they merged with the NHL? And so he wasn't even playing yet. I mean, what was that, 1974, 75?
Yeah, so yeah.
No, he wasn't there yet. I think he was probably still playing junior in Brantford. But yeah, when we moved to Toronto, and then they merged, and then it's like, wow, we left too early to miss seeing this guy play.
No doubt.
I'm freezing cold just envisioning you in the middle of the 70s playing on an outdoor rink in Edmonton. Are all the parents like watching outside, or is there like an indoor spot for them to kind of watch from?
No, they're watching, because they were the Zambonis. They came on the ice in between periods. They were the ice girls before it was cool.
Nice.
They came out and shoveled the rink, and so no, they were there participating. but there was no Under Armour. There was no, thermal stuff that you wore. You wore this big, heavy turtleneck and anything you could just to stay warm. You weren't sweating, I'll tell you that.
Makes you tough.
Walking on concrete with your skates,
Yeah.
big divots in the ice.
I love
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, so when did you realize you could be good? Like when did, even in that area of North America, like when did the WHL start showing some interest and when you started taking the game serious?
So we moved from Toronto. Well, we moved from Edmonton to Toronto, and then from Toronto to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and that's where I played midget hockey.
Okay.
And we had a really good midget team. And then while I was there, my dad got transferred to BC, Prince George. But I stayed back because I knew, he knew how good our how good our midget team was. So I stayed with the trainer of our team. We ended up going to the Air Canada Cup, which I think is TELUS Cup now, and the New Westminster Bruins scouted me there. And back then there was no draft; they just listed you, and there was no regional. Like Quebec could have listed me, Ontario could have listed me, but the Western League ended up listing me. So after that year, I moved to BC with my family and attended the first training camp at New West. Didn't make the team the first year. I went to the BCJHL, played in Abbotsford. But I stayed in New West and built it with the family there. It was like a 45-minute drive to Abbotsford, so I would make the commute. And so the first time I get called up, I'm all excited. I call my trainer, have my bag packed, so I come to Abbotsford and I pick up my gear and bring it back to New West. We hop on the bus the next morning. I got like an 8-hour bus ride to Spokane. And I'm just so pumped and excited and nervous. And our coach at the time was John Van Horlick. And he was an old rodeo cowboy, a tough guy. Like when we did conditioning, we would have the heavy bag in the dressing room. We'd have to put the headgear on and spar and so that's the kind of coach we had. So we get to Spokane. I'm unpacking my gear, getting my stall ready, and my skates aren't in the bag. And I'm like, oh my God.
Nightmare.
Well, the trainer had taken the skates to a skate shop to get them re-riveted, because back then trainers just would hand out the stuff and get them done at the shop. So I didn't have my skates. I thought, there goes my WHL career. I'm all done. Thankfully, we had 3 goalies that made the trip, so the other 2 would dress and then I just sat there and I just couldn't believe it. And so we got back, and John calls me into the coach's room and says, hey, do me a favor. Can you drive to Abbotsford and go pick up your skates, please? Because you're going to start tomorrow night. So that was the start of my WHL career. And then I never really thought about the draft because I was kind of a late bloomer. I didn't get drafted until I was 19. But after that year in New West, our owner at the time, Ron Dixon, moved us down to what's known as the Tri-Cities in Washington State. And, we played in Spokane and Seattle and so in Portland. And so we were familiar with kind of the Pacific Northwest. But when we came to Tri-Cities, Tri-Cities is a high desert. So it's just dirt and sagebrush. And this was back in the late 80s. So we roll in and it's just, you're like, what are we doing here? We just left a great hockey town over in New West. And now we're coming down here and there's this brand new rink in the middle of nowhere. And then, so we spent the first 17 games on the road because the building wasn't done until November. And so we would practice in Walla Walla, Washington, which is like an hour away. And a rink that was probably 2/3 the size of a normal rink. It had like 9-foot ceiling. So if you took a slap shot, you could actually scrape the ceiling. There was no changing rooms. And so we would commute to this rink, and in Tri-Cities in the middle of summer, August is about 100, 105 degrees. And so we would bus to Walla Walla. We would practice. There's no changing rooms. So we would just get out of our gear into our underwear, and our bus didn't have air conditioning because it came from Vancouver. And so we would drive back to Tri-Cities, 100 degrees outside. We had the windows propped open with pop cans. And, these buses back then, they're like cloth seats and you're in your wet underwear. This is the bus we rode in all year long. So for the whole year, we had the stench of post-practice sweat in our seats. But anyway, I kind of rambled on a little bit. But so that was really the first year that I was kind of getting scouted by NHL teams, and I had a really good year. My stats wouldn't say so, but back then, I had kind of like Grant Fuhr type stats, 3.4 goals against average, 89
Timely
save
saves,
percentage.
timely saves.
Yep. Third period.
Timely saves, exactly. And Byron Defoe was playing for Portland at the time. And so the draft rate or the draft, rankings had it between me and him as the top goalies. And so we would go and, we did our interviews and everything. And so we go to Minneapolis, and I had no idea where I stood. I went and interviewed again with Washington. I think I interviewed with him 4 or 5 times. And I was sitting in the stands with my folks, and, with the 19th pick, Washington Capitals are proud to select Olie Kolzig. I was just floored. It was unbelievable feeling. And then I'm in the back and doing my press things, and then about 30 minutes later, I hear, and with the second selection, the Washington Capitals pick Byron Defoe.
Oh, God.
So
buzzkill.
Both of us get drafted, and I couldn't stand Byron when he played in Portland. I thought he was arrogant, cocky. And then we ended up going to Russia that year. We were one of the first NHL teams to go to Russia for training camp, and we became best of friends, and then best men at each other's weddings. And, we had the infamous dance, the one fight where I went and helped Hunter with Belanger, and then Byron hopped on my back, and we kind of squared off, started laughing, and so anyway.
But when you get drafted like that though, and then all of a sudden they pick another goalie right afterwards, are you like, oh, yay? But you're like, okay,
why are they even doing that?
Why are they
They're
doing
investing a first-round pick in a goalie. Then they're going to pick another goalie right after. Like, who's running this draft?
What's going on around here?
Well, now that I'm kind of on the other side of the door and kind of understand what their philosophy is, like they always pick. It's not specific position; it's the best player available.
Yeah.
And they felt that because it was a coin toss between Byron and I, and he was still available in the second round. I figured, let's take him.
Let's get both.
But I sat there and I said, "Are you friggin' kidding me? Come on!" But anyway, it worked out well. We had, like I said, we ended up becoming best friends and godparents to each other's kids, and so things work out.
I love it, man. It happens for a reason. Yep. And not too many first-round pick goaltenders back then, right?
No doubt.
I mean, you're 6'3", you had a good size, but when you came in, like, what were you thinking right off the bat? Because they had like a bunch of different guys kind of coming in and coming out, and then you got an opportunity because of injury. But I want to know about this Jim Carey, though, man. Like Cam and I were talking about this earlier. He ended up playing in St. Louis for a little bit too, but did you think he had that type of ability? I mean, he had 1 year where he was unbelievable, and then we just never really heard from him again,
So Ace came out of college and just was on fire. Yeah, Jim Carey. Yeah, we called him Ace. So he came out of college from Wisconsin, and first year in Portland, we had the lockout, 94. And so I wasn't playing. I stayed home, and he ended up becoming the number one guy in Portland, forced a trade. Byron got traded to LA, and then he went and played in Phoenix when they were the old Roadrunners. And then Ace, I think, went, 17 in a row without a loss. And then we came out of the lockout shortly after Christmas that year, and it was myself and Rick Tabaracci. And we started out slow. I think we were like 1-6, 1-7, and obviously we only had half a season to get in the playoffs. So they made a change. They brought up Ace, and he just took the ball and ran with it. And he was his demeanor. I mean, he could have played in Montreal. He had that kind of demeanor. Just not too many things fazed him, and he was a talent. But the problem is I don't think he loved the game. I remember sitting in the dressing room one day, and he looked over at Dale Hunter, and I forget how old Huntsy was, but he goes, I can't believe that guy's still playing. There's no way I'm playing that long. He goes, I'm going to make enough money and then I'm retiring. And so he kind of lived up to his word, right? So he didn't have that drive. He just didn't push himself. And, you can't be content. You guys know at this level, you can't be content with just getting there. You got to continue working on your game and getting better. And he just never did that. And it was tough to see sometimes as a backup because I was working my ass off to get in the net. And, every time I was given the chance, I shit the bed or the guys didn't play well in front of me. It just didn't work out for me. And then I got this guy here he's unbelievably talented, but just didn't put the work in, and he's getting start after start after start. And but I stayed patient, and eventually the team, I think, had enough, and they traded into Boston, a big trade where we got Billy Ranford and Adam Oates and Rick Tocchet, and then Billy and I had the battle the next year.
Wow.
Damn.
Washington's an interesting organization, man. You guys have always had really interesting teams, great players that have come through there. They just don't get the same attention that you get from a lot of other organizations. Now they're getting it, obviously, over the last several years, especially winning a Stanley Cup. That helps, like, big time. But what was it about that organization, that community that, had you stay there, as long as you did? Because I'm sure maybe there were opportunities, free agency pops up or whatever, that maybe you could have left. But what was it about staying there 17 years that you just loved it?
It's loyalty, I guess. I mean, they drafted me. So when my third year pro, I was loaned out to Rochester, and because it was Byron's first year, second year, but they wanted him to be the guy in Baltimore, and so they sent me to Rochester, and I kind of got pissed. I was pissed off, and I looked at it like, there goes my opportunity. Hang on. So there goes my opportunity with Washington. And I said, well, I'll show these guys. And so I had an unbelievable year in Rochester. We lost in the finals, but so I was on Buffalo's radar, and then I was on Boston's radar, and David Poyle, I remember asked my agent. He goes, "What's it going to take to sign Olie?" And my agent just threw it out there. He said, "Just a one-way contract." And to David's credit, he gave it to me. And so, by him doing that, just showed they really, and again, like now being on the other side of the door, you understand why teams do the things that they do. They don't, and I tell this because I'm in the development side now with Washington. So I tell our young guys, like, there's always a plan. The organization's not pissed off with anybody. If they don't feel you're ready to play, you're going to send you back to junior. If they don't think you're ready to play in the American League, they're going to send you to the coast. There's a plan. And so, the plan was, because Byron was younger, they wanted to have him right there under management. They figured I was older. I'd been in the league a couple of years now, that I could deal with a move better than Byron could. And so, but they never relayed that to me. But anyway, so I signed a contract, and it took me another number of years to finally get that number one job. And I think for me, it was just a matter of being thankful that they were patient with me, and then it's just a comfort level. Then you get to know everybody in the organization, you get to know the community, and so for me, it was just a comfort level.
Hey, what was your first memory of meeting Ovi? Like, when did you meet him for the first time?
So the first time I met him, I was playing in Berlin during the lockout in 04, and we were in Cologne, and Ovi was there. We'd already drafted him, but Ovi was there. I can't remember if he was there for an exhibition or if, whatever. But anyway, so obviously I knew of him. He knew of me. And so we met before the game. I mean, his English wasn't really good, and there was a translator there, but he just told me how excited he was to meet me and how much he was looking forward to coming and playing in the NHL, and had that big smile on his face. And Cam, these Eastern European guys, they can be standoffish or kind of off. There's the distance, and it takes a while for them to gain your trust. Ovi wasn't like that. He was outgoing right away. And then when our first training camp that following year, he wanted a room with the North American guys so he could learn the language, learn the culture. He always wanted to be around the guys. I think Glenn Hanlon told a story where he went around the dressing room and would write everybody's names down so that he knew their names right away. There was no sense of entitlement. And so I think our group, especially the older guys, really respected that. And I think it made him more comfortable and then just allowed him to play. And it was just, he's just a one-of-a-kind person.
Was he confident in the locker room? Did any of the older guys have to be like, okay, Ovi, chill out a little bit? Like, I can't picture that happening, you know what I mean, now, because he just runs the show. But back in the day.
We had our thumb on him. We had to kind of keep him in check a little bit sometimes. But, you know, it wasn't an arrogance. It was just a confidence. He knew he was good. He knew he was our best player. But we just wanted to keep him in check, and he was great about that.
Yeah, man.
He wasn't like, oh, you know who I am. You don't need to tell me, you don't tell me what to do. Da, da, da. He was fantastic.
So did people know what they were getting? I mean, even the organization, you draft him first overall. I mean, they know they're getting a great player, but did everyone truly know what they were getting in Ovechkin?
I don't think anybody knew. We knew he was a generational talent. Everybody talked about him, but you've seen a few of those picks happen and they kind of fizzle out. But I don't think we really knew the whole package we were getting. We knew we were getting a goal scorer, but then the way he played, how physical he was, how big he was, and he had playmaking ability. Like he brought everything to the table. And so I think from an organization and us as players, we were like, wow, this is going to be great for this organization. Unfortunately, I couldn't, I was getting to that part or my age where, the experience was up here, but the body was starting to go down here. And so I couldn't be there when everything came to fruition, when, Nicky Backstrom came in and Mike Green and John Carlson and then just to see where that team went, we had to go through some pretty dark times before and a little bit after we got Ovi. But no, we knew, I think within that first 3-4 months, I think after he scored that goal in Phoenix on his back,
yeah,
I think we knew, wow, this is going to be special. Not as special as he turned out to be with breaking the record, but pretty special.
But like even in like practice, so like the first training camp practice, did he come down and you like try to go bar down? You're like, oh, okay. Sometimes when you're young,
so
you just kind of.
It was the first practice before training camp. Like we all just kind of an informal skate, and he took a one-timer on me that I said to some reporters that I'm just glad it went in the net and didn't touch me, because it just had, it goes by you and it just has a different sizzle to it. Like it was, I think the only guy I'd ever played with before that was like that was probably Ali Afraidy, and he shot it from the blue line, not from the hash mark. So, and I talked to him after. I just told him, I said, hey, Ovi, I'm your teammate here. You don't need to show me the full velocity of your shot. And ever since then, he was always, if we're doing power play, he would always one-time it on the ice. He would take snappers for warm up. Like that's what I mean about the kid. He's respectful. I'm thankful I never got hit with it.
You don't need him taking one-timers at you in warm-up. That's for damn sure.
No.
But you know what? Like, as a goalie, though, who's on the ice with him in practice, like, you can speak to it probably better than most. Like, you just mentioned it had a different sizzle to it. Like, who would you compare it to? I mean, you played against Brett Hall. You played against other great shooters who scored a lot of goals. But what was it about a shot that, like, has allowed him to continue to have this much success at this stage of his career? If he didn't get hurt, this guy would be scoring 50 goals this year.
Yeah, well, I would think probably Brett Hall was probably the closest, and I didn't play against Brett enough, but he's got a few goals on me. But with Holly, I mean, his just the way he shot it, the flex on his stick, you guys could probably attest to it more than me. I don't think Holly was a workhorse in the gym. I don't think he was.
Sure, he was.
He's working out right now.
Like Ovi. I mean, Ovi's. he's getting a little thicker nowadays, but that
Yeah.
guy is strong.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I mean, he's probably 250 right now, but back when he first came in, he was about 230 and it was muscle. And he's got this toe curve hook on his stick. And if he gets it right in here, it is just like a catapult, like it just gone. And then even if he gets it outside on the toe or on the heel, he puts so much movement on the puck, like you just can't read where it's going, and it's forceful. So it's just a different type of shot.
So was he working out a lot? Like, you hear about Ovi, he just kind of
Subway.
goes to the beat of his own drum, drinks Pepsi on the bench and all this type of stuff. Like, was he like a hard worker when he first came into the organization? Like, was he in the gym working out after practice, riding the bike after games? Or, was he just different? He just kind of had a natural genetic body type that allowed him to have this type of sustainability.
Yeah, both. He was just naturally big, but he worked. I mean, you know, I'd say in the middle of his career, he kind of backed off a little bit and maybe took things a little bit for granted. And I wouldn't say he's a specimen or a fitness freak or you know, into nutrition all that much, obviously with the Subway and the Cheetos when he gets on the plane. And after a game, like most guys now, they're drinking protein shakes and doing yoga, and he's in the back with the trainers drinking Bud Lights. He's a bit of a throwback that way, like guys back in the 70s and 80s would use training camp to get in shape. I wouldn't say he did that, but he would do cram sessions. Like, you'd follow him on Instagram or whatever throughout the summer, and he's in this country and he's in that country. And then all of a sudden August rolls around and then he's running on the beach with a parachute in Miami. He had a different type of workout. I remember before training camp, it was like 2 years ago, he would have all the young Russians in working out with him, and the strength guys, they were just shaking their heads. And because what he was doing wasn't what they were teaching. But it was Ovi's way of getting those kids under his wing. No, but I just think he's just a naturally strong, what we call now old man strength.
Who do you think had the most impact on him? Like, I know you weren't his teammate for the middle and the latter stages, but you've been around. I mean, was it when Barry got there? Like, I remember, like, maybe his ice time was cut a little bit. Like, they kind of, almost like how Hitchcock had to handle Hully when he went to Dallas, kind of, had him learn how to commit to the defensive side of the game and some other details too. Like, did it ever get to that point? And like, who had a real dramatic impact on his career, you think? From a coaching standpoint?
Well, I think starting out, I think there was a handful of us, the veterans, myself, Chris Clark, Brian Wilsey, Jeff Halpern. I'd like to think that we were a big brother to him, kind of help him find his way in North America. And then from a coaching standpoint, he started out with Glenn Hanlon. Glenn got fired after a year and a half, and then Bruce Boudreau came in. And I think Bruce was really great for Ovi because, Bruce really preached offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then we brought in Dale Hunter, and Dale was all about accountability and didn't care who you were, your status on the team. You needed to be accountable. And so I don't think him and Ovi always looked eye to eye. And I think it was a big reason why Dale left after 2 years. And then Adam Oates came in, and then Oatesy really, him and Ovi really clicked. I think there was a resurgence in Ovi's offense. I think Ovi really liked the way that Oatesy allowed him to be free and play. And then Barry came in. And Barry was a little bit of both Dale and Oatesy. He knew what he had in Ovi, but he was also big on accountability and playing the right way. And so as far as, I think it was just a mixed bag of coaches, and I think Ovi's really matured now and understands how he needs to play. He's still probably not the greatest defensive guy in the world, but I tell you what, he's really turned into an unbelievable leader.
Who's got a better shot, Alexander Ovechkin or Marek Malik? I had to do
Why
it.
would
I'm
you bring
sorry.
that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just got in the league.
I think,
Imagine
I think,
social media was.
Merrick's a little.
Yeah.
I think Merrick's a little bit more. What's the term? Creative.
Oh, that was
I don't care.
unbelievable.
I don't-
though.
I've
I
seen
don't
Obi
care
go
whoever
between his
brings
legs.
That was unbelievable, though. That moment, though. I mean,
Well, it was the first. It was the first year we had the shootout.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
How
think
many
that was
rounds
what
was that?
round
Yeah.
16, maybe.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here comes this 6'6" defenseman who's not known for offense. And I don't care what goalie you talk to, there's no way they could have predicted he did this. And I give him all the credit in the world to have the balls to do that at Madison Square Garden. I mean, it was unbelievable. But yeah, it comes on more times than I want to see it on NHL Network. That's for sure.
Yeah.
well, you're lucky social media back then would have been all over
Oh
that.
God, I would have I would have been torched.
Yeah, but it
I
was,
didn't
man.
even-
I mean, I
But
think there was social. I mean, maybe right before social media,
Yeah,
I guess.
it was right
but
before.
nobody had really seen a player do that
Yeah.
in a game. It was a shootout, obviously, so a little bit of a different situation. Now everybody can do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I see 8-year-old kids who are on the ice
Yep.
doing it at will, like it's nothing. It's like they're just taking a regular wrist shot. So even for a goaltender at the time, were you like, that was unbelievable? I can't believe, or were you like, people are making too big a deal out of the degree of difficulty?
No, I had all the respect in the world for him and what he did. I was
Yeah.
pissed off we lost the game. But then, we're sitting in the bus going to the airport. I'm like, I can't believe that guy just did that. And then I played with him in Tampa like 2 years later, 3 years later, and we joked about it. And he just says he blacked out. I'm like, okay. But God, you know what? But I was actually more pissed off for the goal I gave up before that.
Strudwick.
Jason Strudwick scored, and all he did was just come down the wing or just came down the middle and just beat me blocker side. And again, another stay-at-home defenseman comes down and does it. Here I stop Yager.
Yeah.
Trying to remember who else was there, and then Jason Strudwick comes down and beats me, and so I was upset with that one. And then, like I said, I give Merrick all the credit in the world for pulling that off.
All right, let me ask you this: you had over 300 wins,
Yeah.
and a great career, and Ovi's breaking Gretzky's record. Nobody saw that happening, and I think you had 3 consecutive years where you had 70 or more games played. I mean, you played over 60. It seemed like almost every single year, and we're still seeing the true number ones get to 60 games, but not much more above that. Marty's record of 691, Brodeur, like his career wins, like will anybody ever touch that? You think?
Ooh, I mean, you've got to have a lot of things go. It's the same with Ovi, right? You got to have a lot of things go right for you. Got to stay healthy. Got to be on a pretty productive team. Because it'll wear on you mentally, force you to retire before you want to. And early on in his career, he didn't have the workload that most goalies had. He's facing, and I'm not taking anything away from him. Right? There's a different mentality to a goalie that only faces 17, 18 shots a game. I mean, you can't give up one because your team's not scoring much. But from a workload standpoint, kind of saved his body a little bit. I don't know. I'll never say never. I never thought the goal record would be broken, especially in today's game. But man, yeah, you've got to stay healthy and got to be with it between the ears.
Do you remember the first time you heard someone bring it up? And did you ever have a conversation with Ovi about the potential of breaking Gretzky's record? Like, when did you first start having conversations with people around Washington about him potentially breaking the record if he were to continue at this pace over the years? And did he ever talk about it?
I think there was a stat that came up on NHL Network. And so I just went and looked up Ovi's stats and Gretz's stats at the time, because I really never had any reason to in the first place. And I'm like, and this was 3 years ago, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing the math. I'm like, my God, this, because he just signed a new 5-year deal. And I'm like, I mean, there's potential to do it. The thing I was worried about was the age, right? The older you get, you start slowing down, and he proved everybody wrong this year with that. But yeah, it was probably 3 years ago. maybe even longer. It was 4 years ago, and just started talking with other people in the organization, like our development department, or Ovi never really took it serious. Like, I don't think it was in his at that time. I don't think he was really considering it. I think he was probably looking more to retire than to try to break this record. But then, he goes out and has a 30-goal year. He has a 40-goal year, and it's like, okay. I mean, he's within reach. I think I said this year. I said to somebody, I think he's going to get 43. I think he's just going to break it. And I mean, it was just something you say to the media right at the beginning of the year. You're not going to say, no, I don't think he's going to break it. So I just threw that number out there. And then he goes out and has an unbelievable start to the season, and then breaks his leg.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh boy, this is going to carry over into next year. And then, you never know, it just happens all of a sudden, Cam, right? It just falls off a cliff, right? The game's not there. It's just not there. So you're thinking, oh boy, maybe he'll get it next year. And then he comes back, struggles his first game, but then he just takes off and continues where he left off before he broke his leg. But I never had the conversation with him because I don't think he really thought about it too much. And then the media started making a bigger deal out of it, and then here we are.
Listen, I don't want you to speak for him, but like, what do you think his mindset will be now moving forward? Like, you think he'll want to continue to play, or now that he broke the record, like
I think he definitely wants to get 900. I haven't talked to him about it, but I just, why not? You're 5 away. I mean, he could get it this year with, who knows? We got 4 games left, but I think he had so much fun this year. I think with the group that we have in Washington, it might actually be a closer group than what we had in 2018. So I think I don't know if rejuvenated is the word, but he loves being in the locker room. He loves being around the guys. He just loves hockey, and he loves having his kids at the game. And so I think as long as he continues to be productive and he's enjoying it, he's got 1 more year left on his contract. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't come back next year. And why not just keep adding to this total? Make it.
I know.
Please do come back.
Get to 1,000.
Or Draisaitl or McDavid can't reach it.
Right.
Break the hitting record too while you're at it. You know what I mean?
This guy hits everything.
He hits everything. Break the hitting record, and
it's unreal.
It's crazy.
That's the thing.
Will make her dance.
He dances.
It allows him to play this. It's crazy.
He did all those commercials were hilarious that he did. He dances to rap music. He's a rapper. I mean,
fans will make her dance.
He did a hole-in-one his first time golfing.
Oh my God.
I know, if you're a golfer, you look at that like you kind of get pissed off about it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put an asterisk to that one because I was there. I was actually hosting that charity tournament. So that year, normally I would stay at that hole, right? And you would just hit with everybody that came through and, get to meet everybody. So Ovi took over that role that year. And so, he would hit all these extra balls while groups were going because he's still learning how to play golf. So when he had that hole-in-one, and granted it was a hole-in-one, it was probably his 70th shot of the day.
Yeah.
But still, he's still got it. And it's Ovi, right?
I'm giving it to him.
That's what he is. He's a personality. He's a brand. Everything he does is successful.
Olie, his commercials don't compare to yours, though, just so you know.
Dude.
Your commercials are amazing.
They were great.
I mean, did you have to rehearse pouring wine all over your face, or was that like a one take?
Who's the girl?
You can't do that over and over again.
Oh, I got a great story for you on this one. So the Caps, they committed this big budget to this production crew, and it was legit. Like, we had trailers, it was like, I think they filmed 6 or 7 commercials all throughout DC. And so originally the plan was my wife was going to be in the commercial with me. So we had a bit of a spat day or two before. And so I told the staff that she wasn't going to do it. So we end up going to I go to the production site, and I get changed out of my clothes, and they give me this suit, and put all my clothes in the background, and my phone was in my pocket, and so we're starting production, and my phone rings, and they can pick it up on the mic, right? Well, it's my wife calling me, and it was like a flip phone, right? It was back, no smartphones or anything like that. So one of the production people went and picked up the phone, and it was a girl, and said hello. And she said, "Who's this? Is Olie there? I'm sorry, he's busy right now," and hung up. Put it back on my pants and continued, doing production. So when you guys see me pour the wine, that's right at the end of the commercial. I only did that once, but every time we went cheers, we would take a sip, and I think we did that like 20 or 30 times. So I had like a glow going before I did this. And so by the time we get to that point, I'm feeling good. The actress across from me was pretty good looking.
Oh yeah.
And so I do this, and we call it a night. So I go back, get changed. I'm like, oh geez, I realized I didn't bring an extra set of underwear. Like, it just soaked everything, right? So I had to throw the underwear out. Get back in the car service. Gets me back home around 1 a.m. Wife's awake. I'm coming in the door, half cut, no underwear, and some broad hung up on her on the phone. How do you think that night went?
Oh, the weird thing is, somebody picked up your phone and answered it.
I know.
Like, imagine that nowadays.
Right?
Like, you're gonna get smacked around for that. I don't care who you are.
I think I finally got out of the doghouse once the commercial came out. And I say, see?
Once the check came in the mail?
Yeah, no doubt.
What's that?
I said once the check came in the mail, for doing the commercial.
Yeah.
They pay you good money for that?
That was pro bono. We did that purely for the team.
What about the paper, the paper boy, where you're blocking all the papers?
Yeah,
doing
so
your
I
thing,
did that
you're all
one earlier
stacking
in the
up.
day. Yeah, so I did that one earlier in the day. So the gist of it was same day. Like everything was done one day.
Wow.
And they had, I think Bondra did one, Gonchar did one, Simon did one, Ron Wilson did one, Connor Walchuk, Nico Lushin, they all did one. So, but yeah, we went into a suburb in Arlington, Virginia, and the gist of it was Paperboy would come down every morning and he would chuck the newspaper at me and would try to get it by me. So I walk out of my robe, and I see him coming down the street, and so I get in my goalie stance, and he tries to, get one by me. I think he throws 4 or 5 papers. I block them all, and I catch the last one. I give him a wink, and I go into the house, and I think the thing was Caps hockey always intense. I think that was what the
no dialogue's always the best.
Hey, listen, the 2000
no dialogue's always the best.
Yeah, right.
The
2000 Vezina Trophy. What was it about that season that kind of separated the rest of the years for you? Like, did you feel like you were just locked in from the beginning?
So that was kind of a bittersweet year for me. The regular season itself was unreal. Like, it was just, I had a great team in front of me, with, probably the best set of D in the league. But I was legitimately locked in. It just felt, just that, goalies say puck looks like a beach ball. It's coming in at 5 miles an hour. The thing with that season was the playoffs. We played Pittsburgh in the first round, and I think in game 1 we lost 8-0. I got yanked after the second. It was 6-0, and I think we lost in 5 games. So it really kind of left kind of a sour taste in my mouth. But yeah, the regular season was phenomenal. It was one of the best there was another year, I think it was 2 or 3 years later, I actually had a similar year, and I was actually surprised I didn't get nominated that year, because I felt I was close to what it was in 2000. But regardless, getting the award was unbelievable. We had it in the award show was in Toronto, and I think it was myself, Roman Churik, and Curtis Joseph when Cujo was playing for Toronto. And they announced me, and I got booed. It was unbelievable. I went up there. I said, "I probably not the choice that you wanted, but yeah, I'm happy nonetheless." But no, it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
What about facing that Detroit team in the final?
Oh man,
is that the best collection of talent you've ever faced on one team?
I'm going to say because we got swept 4-0. They were unbelievable. I mean, they really were. I don't know how many Hall of Famers they ended up having off of that team, but it was, and there were probably borderline guys that could be in the Hall of Fame. We had a great run that year. I think we were really feeling good as a group. But then for whatever reason, once we got in that first game, I don't think we had the belief that we could beat them. Whatever reason it was, we shouldn't have felt that way because we were playing great. We just beat Buffalo in 6 and against the greatest goalie in the league at the time, Dominator. But then you're facing off and you got Yzerman, Fedorov, and Lidstrom, and I mean Shanahan, and you just go down the list. And so we lose the first game 2-1. We actually felt really good after the game. So we go into game 2. We actually have a 4-2 lead late in the third. They end up tying it. We lose in overtime. So now we're down 2-0. Well, at least we're coming home. So we come home. We come on the ice. The whole lower bowl are Red Wing fans.
Oh my
so what
God.
we found out was our ticketing staff went to Detroit to sell tickets. Like nowadays, if you're from Detroit or if you're from a visiting team, you're like the last people that have access to the
You don't
tickets.
even have
Everything is for the
access, yeah.
hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if they were worried that we were going to sell the building out or not. And so they went and gave Detroit first bid. So the whole lower bowl was Red Wing fans. It was like just kicking the nuts. And it was a pretty good game. And then we ended up losing 3-1. And then game 4 was just a formality. But the series was definitely a lot closer than a 4-0 sweep. I think if we just would have had a little bit different mentality, a little bit more optimistic mentality, we could have made it a series. I don't think I'm not going to say we would have won, but we could have won one or two games and made it interesting. But you look back and that team, arguably could be one of the top 3-4 teams ever in NHL history.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're loaded.
You played for a ton of different coaches, but in the minors you had that John Brophy. Wasn't he kind of like an emotional, kind of crazy guy? Like, what was that experience like playing for him? You got to have stories about him.
He was, oh my God, he would go down as one of my all-time favorite coaches. So I got, it's my first year pro. Here I am, first round pick. I made the Caps my very first year. I was there for a month going into the season, and I got sent back to junior. So I come back the next year and thinking, hey, I made the Caps last year. I'm not going to say it was going to be easy, but I should be on the team this year. Well, reality check. I get cut like the first 2 weeks of training camp. I get sent to Baltimore. They've got Jim Rivnak, Sean Simpson, myself, and so they decide they're going to send me down to the East Coast League. Now, the East Coast League back then was a lot closer to Slapshot than it is now. Now it's a great league. There's some really good hockey there, but back then it was a tough league. And so I get sent to Hampton Roads, which is Norfolk, Virginia, and the coach is John Brophy. And I remember living in Toronto and watching the Leafs play and watching Brof and watch his head turn purple and his hair's white and he's got the bolo tie and just losing his mind on the bench. And I'm like, oh boy. So I get there and I meet him and everything's fine. It's nice. And so my first game, we're playing at the Scope Arena in Norfolk. I give up a goal from center ice. And I'm just sitting there dreading going into the dressing room at intermission. And so the clock or the buzzer goes off. We go down to the dressing room and I just hang my head and Brof's in there just losing his mind. And he actually gives the forward crap for not having his man on the goal. The guy that scored from center ice. Oh. Didn't say anything to me. Nothing to me. Just gave that guy. And so anyway, you come to find out with Brof, he understands it's a game of mistakes and everybody's going to make a mistake, bad goals, whatever, penalties. All Brof ever wanted you to do was give it your all every time on the ice, whether it was practice or games. And if you did that, he loved you. There were times where we won games and then he would tell us to keep our gear on and bag us after.
Oh, God.
Because, we didn't play well. And then there were times where we lost and we would on the road and we would stop at a convenience store and pick up some beer and he'd come in the back of the bus and tell us stories. Like that's all the guy ever wanted was guys just to give it their all. And I had the utmost respect for the guy. I loved him. Yeah, he was a gong show. He would chirp other players and warm up. Like he would come on the bench and warm up. Like you had to actually walk on the ice to get to the bench, and he would do that for warm up. And then he would just chirp other players and other teams. And it was just, yeah, as a 19-year-old or 20-year-old, I was just like, this is unbelievable. I was dressing beside Scott Stevens last year at this time, and now I'm in the middle of Slapshot. It was unreal. But again, awesome guy. I loved him. Yeah, I worked on my game down there, and then ended up, I got in the American League and worked on my game there. And so, yeah, it wasn't ideal, but it was a great experience.
Yeah, no, you played for some great coaches. But who did you butt heads with? Because I know you could get a little more. There's video of you smashing sticks and getting angry and getting mad. Like, who drove you crazy? Who pushed you to the limit?
Coaches wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I nobody ever really pushed me to the limit. I mean, I had my my confrontations with Jim Schoenfeld a few times. There was a time in Edmonton where this was when Jim Carey was there, and our team was struggling, and Ace had played in Calgary the night before and didn't play well. So, Shoney gave me the start in Edmonton, and we were down 2-1 in like middle of the second period, and they were on the power play, one-timer from the point, and redirected off our D-man stick and went by me. So we're down 3-1 going to the intermission. And this is at the old Northlands Coliseum, right? We've got this big concrete pillar right in the middle of the dressing room. And so I come out of the game, or come in the dressing room, and Shoney walks in the room, and his big suspenders on, and he's like, "Ace, you're going in. I just need one of you guys to fucking stop the puck." And I'm just sitting there I'm still trying to get a grasp of the number one position, right? Like this is an opportunity, even though we're down 3-1. I was playing okay. Bad break on the deflection. I didn't think it warranted me getting yanked, especially him making a scene like that in the dressing room. And so he went back in the coach's room, and I went ballistic. I took my stick. I think the biggest part of my stick was my handle was about that big, because I just destroyed that concrete pillar in the middle of the dressing room. And I walked into the training room, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "Well, if you think it's so easy, you redheaded, whatever, why don't you put the pads on and go in the friggin' net?" And then just as soon as that came out of my mouth, Shoney walked into the training room. And here's another moment where I thought my career was over. And to his credit, he just came in. He was a passionate guy. He had a temper. He understood where I was coming from. And he said, "Listen, Olie," he goes, "I just have to get the guys going. Don't worry, you're going in Vancouver. You're starting. I know your family's there. You're going to play." And so then I just sat down, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." But anyway, so it was those kind of confrontations I'd had. It was never, it came from the right spot. Sometimes it didn't come out the right way. But I think players with every coach at some point are butting heads. And I think you just, I never let it get personal. I never let it get to the point where I would undermine someone. I never let it get to the point where I didn't give it my all when I was in the net, despite who was behind the bench. I got along better with some coaches than I did with others. I had different relationships with all of them, but for the most part, I respected every one of them that I played for.
All right, a few more things for you, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
We're going to let you go. Well, what does this mean for the Capitals organization? I mean, Ovi getting all this recognition, surpassing, Gretzky, Ted Leonsis, like as the owner, like you got a lot of great things that happened with the Washington Capitals over the last few years. So, like, what does this mean for the Capitals? What has Ovi meant to the organization?
Well, I think Ovi's meant the world to the organization, and the world to the organization, and the world to the Washington D.C. area, and you could say to the NHL for that matter. But this year, going into the season, I think and to a man within the organization, I think we thought maybe borderline playoff team, and you know, we signed like 6 or 7 free agents this year. We had no idea how well we would end up playing. Like our goaltending has been fantastic. Logan Thompson, Charlie Lindgren, our the 6 guys that we brought have all contributed. Like look at Jacob Chikrin, the year he's having.
Great year.
Dubois, Luc Dubois, like he's finally comfortable and he's playing the way that people thought he was going to play when he got drafted. Like every move they made this year has worked out. And it's not only that, it's our 50th anniversary, which they've been celebrating all year long. Like every month we've had an era, like we had the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. They would bring in a group of players and they would recognize those players and they would have bobbleheads for everybody. So it's just to be in the position that we're at, you know, fighting for the President's Trophy on this special year. And then Ovi does that. I think it's just right now things are trending pretty good for us. And I'm not saying that we're going to win a Stanley Cup, but things have they're just aligned properly for us. Now we haven't played great the last 2 weeks. I think part of that might be the Ovi chase and everybody, you know, the cameras all around. Guys, I don't know if they're getting tight or if they're just too focused on this. But now that that's out of the way, now hopefully, you know, playing Carolina tonight should be a pretty heated game after what happened last week. I look for us to get back to being focused and continue this push to try to get the Presidents, and if not, just to be just have a good momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We've always said like a Russian is going to have a statue in the nation's capital outside of where the Capitals play.
Yeah,
you know, it's amazing.
Multiple.
How is the Washington community like? And you think about Washington D.C., you automatically think about the political community. Like, have they always embraced the Russian superstar? Has he always fit in that community there in D.C.?
Day one? Yeah, since day one. The political part hasn't transitioned over into the hockey part. I think they view Ovi as, like we talked about, just this enthusiastic person that just plays with passion that everybody could get behind. And I think him being Russian is secondary. They don't, you know, obviously when Putin first went into Ukraine, there was a little bit of some people coming on Twitter and couldn't understand why Ovi didn't condemn it. And I think some people don't understand the dynamics there. Like I talked to Ovi about it, and you know, there's some stuff that, you know, he doesn't want to get involved with, so he just kind of leaves it alone. But there's other than that, there hasn't been anything. I think they embrace him like he's anybody else from North America, and they consider him their own son.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love
hey, listen, you're an owner in the WHL. We've had Stu Barnes on too, by the way. I think several months ago we had him on. So you're still.
You had Stu on before me. Are you kidding
I
me?
can't believe it. I can't believe it. We were waiting for Ovi to break the record and for you to go viral on Twitter. We were waiting for that moment.
Yep.
Which you did. But you love it, man. Like you like being an owner, obviously, in the you know, in the WHL and, you know, doing all that. Like, how are you hands on? Are you full on invested, involved, like every single day, or you just kind of turn it over to people to run it?
No, I think we've done a pretty good job of letting, you know, like our GM handle things. I mean, obviously, when there's big decisions needed to be made, yeah, we're more involved. We just recently actually sold a big chunk of it to a guy from Seattle. So he's a majority owner now, and he's bringing a new business perspective to the team, which we never had. I mean, Stu and I don't pretend to be unbelievable business people, and so he's bringing in some new ideas, and it's a lot of fun. It's you know, the last couple of years, people have started to come back out to games post COVID. Actually, have had a bigger increase in attendance. I think people just realize how important it is to get out and be part of social events. We've had a good product on the ice this year. We're going to be better next year. Got some really good young guys coming in. We've got a couple of young guys that Jackson Smith should go in the first round this year. But it's, you know what is great is just being part and seeing these kids develop and you know, seeing them whenever I'm in town, you know, going down and talking with them, and it's full circle, right? I played for the team. I had the opportunity to get involved and buy the team, and so yeah, I think anytime a guy can do that, you know, I think what's his name, senior moment here, Edmonton.
Cats?
No, player.
Oh,
He just
okay.
bought into.
50 goals scored just last year. What's his name?
Oh,
Plays for a team.
Draisaitl?
H. Starts with an H.
Oh,
Hey,
Hyman.
Hyman.
Hyman did. Yeah.
See, we all
Hyman. He bought a team in the
Hyman.
OHL. Yeah.
Yeah, him and his family just
Yeah.
bought.
Yeah.
I think
We're all
Brantford,
idiots.
maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Suter, who plays for the Blues here, he owns a
Yeah.
team in the USHL.
Awesome.
I've talked to him about that too. So I love when players get involved in the ownership standpoint. Listen, you're one of the only people, like, you were there when Ovi came into the league. Then you were in Tampa when Stamkos came into the league. Feel any similarities there, or just can't really go there? I mean, Ovi's just on another level. Both first overall picks.
Stammer's a great goal scorer in his own right, but there's only one Ovi.
Only one Ovi.
You know, I mean, we're talking, you know, like the history of the NHL. Like Ovi's, he's right up there. He's royalty, you know. And Stammer's had, don't get me wrong, Stammer's had a Hall of Fame career, and he should go in the Hall of Fame. But Ovi's just next level.
No, I got you.
No doubt.
Although you had a lot, we could do the next time we have you on. We'll talk about that experience playing in Tampa Bay. 'Cause I would imagine that year was interesting. Barry is the head coach, interesting ownership. I think Brian Lawton was the general manager. So
if we had another hour, we could cover that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
You're the man, dude.
Maybe next time. Hey, I'm heading out right now to go watch your boy Cole Hudson, the Frozen Fours here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I know you're on the development side. You got Ryan Leonard there now too. So you got some good pieces that are coming into the organization, you know, with Hudson and then Leonard already getting there. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Leonard we had a couple years ago, but our draft last year was ridiculous. The guys that we got Ilya Protas, who's Alexei Protas' younger brother. He's setting records in Windsor. We got Leon Mugli, defenseman in Switzerland. Cole Hudson, who, I mean, what he did at the World Juniors was just unbelievable. He's special to watch, and if he's anything like his brother, we're definitely excited.
Yeah, you should
be good for a while.
All the best, man.
Hey, you're the man. Appreciate you coming
Congrats
on.
on everything you're doing, and good luck to you guys in the playoffs too.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Good talking to you.
All right,
Awesome.
Olie, take
See
care,
you, buddy. Right on.
The Chemistry Podcast is brought to you by Bellman. Behlmann. Bellman Automotive. Located where?
Troy,
Missouri. Buick GMC on one side of the street. Right on the other side, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the winter.
That was Olie.
Olie the goalie.
You know, he's very kind of like I could tell why he was so focused as a goaltender. You know what I'm saying? Although he put on great commercials, had great personality back in the day when he was playing, like great commercials and everything.
Oh, awesome ones. We took the wine bottle. He's with the date.
Yeah.
The good-looking woman.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be on set, like just beautiful women everywhere.
Yes.
You're like the athlete.
Well,
he's just chilling. He's got to do a funny wine
commercial. He told his
commercial.
wife she couldn't go a couple
I
days
know. Well,
before.
it's kind of uncomfortable. You're hanging out with all these like hot chicks. Like that's pretty
and then
cool.
somebody's like calling.
These are
she's
professional.
calling and somebody's answering. Could you imagine if somebody answered your phone?
That's what. Did I not respond to that?
I think you
didn't. I respond to that. He's like, somebody answered my phone. It was my wife. While he's working with another beautiful woman, which you should do because you're doing a commercial.
Yeah.
This was like professionally done. Look professional. Like those are nice.
He's not cheating on her. It's
no,
just it's
but
work. It's
and
business.
somebody answers his phone while he's doing this commercial. But it's pretty cool, man. That would be a cool commercial to do. Hanging with some.
That's
you're taking a bottle.
No, that's
of
very
wine.
creative. I will say this: if you ever
it.
watch a Washington Capitals game, they always have like players on commercials.
I know
and
they
stuff
do a
like
good job with that.
They do.
The Blues do a good job with that too, man. They got a lot. Of,
I think
they have a lot of commercials too.
Yeah, for sure. But
you
Olie,
have to.
Memorable moments throughout his career, man.
Yeah,
fought.
He did fight a couple times. Scored a couple goals.
Yeah,
he scored in junior too.
First goal ever in the history of the WHL. He's an owner in the WHL.
But I will say, the biggest goal was. What do you think? I mean, that got the most attention of everything, and you just can't avoid it. Is Merrick Malik goal?
Oh
my
in the
God.
shootout.
In the shootout.
Yeah.
Even if that game was relevant or not, I don't remember. Like if it was a.
It was the first.
Was it an important
shootout
game
that went a real long, extended shootout?
Was it a bad loss?
I don't remember, dude.
But that blew up. If that would have happened now with a guy like that, when it went that long, just It's just social media wasn't around.
Yeah.
But that was a big. I remember. I was in Jersey at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was everywhere.
Yeah. No, so that was great. We appreciate him giving us some time too, and reflecting on Ovi. He had 5 assists on Ovi's goal too.
Pretty
so.
cool.
How about the goalies who did give up goals to Ovi? Should Budweiser be making them a can too?
Yeah, I think that's a great marketing campaign.
Okay, so
Totally cool.
what would have been better though, to give the guys who didn't allow a goal, or to give the 180 goaltenders who did allow a goal
And have a beer
and be like,
relax
and be
baby.
like, I'm having a beer. I contributed to the record.
Yeah.
I think they maybe should have gone the other way,
You might be right on that.
especially with all the great goalies that he played against that obviously gave up goals.
Yep.
And to have them be a part of it, to have Marty Brodeur sitting back and Patrick Waugh cracking
Well,
open a beer,
maybe.
like that would have been cool.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was easier to have to isolate the ones that didn't allow a goal.
I don't even know. Did he play against Patty Waugh? Was Patty still playing in 05-06?
I don't know. Cujo was out there, right?
Cujo didn't allow a goal.
That's what I mean.
He was the first
How many
person
games
I
did he
saw
play
that
against?
put the video up.
How many games did he play against Ovi? Was it one game?
I think he didn't have faced too many shots.
See, I
Anybody
think-
who didn't give up a goal against Ovi, like they saw fewer than like 20 shots
Yeah, or
of their career,
yeah.
which is still like you saved 20 shots against Ovi.
Well, he didn't have all 20 shots.
No, he had like 5.
Maybe 5, or maybe had an off game. Or did he play? Yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm talking about like over the course of maybe they faced Ovi once,
Yeah.
came in relief, made 5 saves
Yeah,
or 2 saves
yeah.
against Ovi. And they got the beer and they got to be part of this, Manny legacy was
That's it.
funny.
He looks good, man.
Everyone I'm talking to right now,
I'd like to get him
they're
on.
all goalies.
I'd like to get him on.
Get a lot of goals. Because Cujo, we're going to get Cujo on.
Yeah,
too,
we need
man.
him on too.
A lot of goalies.
Yeah. Goalies are interesting.
Yeah.
They are.
Oh, goalies are interesting.
They tell a different view. They have a different viewpoint from everything.
And they're usually pretty good talkers and stuff
Yeah.
like that. All right, so thanks to Olie Kolzig.
Yeah,
I got to
baby.
ask you one thing. The helicopter crashes. What's going on with that?
Man, weird. I don't know, dude. There's another plane crash
Would you
in
go in
Florida.
a helicopter?
Yeah.
Are they dangerous?
Anything's dangerous, man.
Is a
Aviation-
helicopter
Hold on.
more
Alex,
dangerous than a plane?
aviation as a whole is pretty safe. A lot of these plane crashes now are private jets. And one trying to land on Florida on the highway, things could go wrong, man. Like you would think it would happen more, but there's been some big time plane crashes over the past 6 months.
It was over the Hudson River.
This was weird. The whole fucking
Did somebody jump out of it?
no.
What was
no,
those 2 things that fell out of it?
Parts of the.
Would you have jumped out?
No, dude. You're in a spiral. You couldn't even move. Everything sucks you right in. Like you're like you passed out before you even hit the water.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure even in a helicopter
Yeah,
when you're not that
they
high
fell
up?
from about probably
400 feet or
400 or
something?
500 feet.
Not even, maybe.
No, probably higher than that because you have to have a certain elevation when you're cruising around New York like that. You can't be too low.
Yeah, but helicopters,
Hold
you
on.
can't go a certain height either.
Yeah, I know, but enough to where you have so much pressure. You're like this. You watch a video, like that sucks you in. These poor kids, man. So they probably passed out before they hit the water, but hitting the water at that height is like
Kids.
there's kids on there. There's a family, wealthy family from I think Spain or something came over and they were touring. They were
So that was a tour?
yeah, and it was actually a Navy SEAL pilot.
And what happened?
The fucking chopper. This wasn't. I don't think this was pilot error. I believe if you read up on it, the chopper fell apart. It's probably an old
Jesus,
chopper that
dude.
they ran out and they're beat up and the
I
rotor just
don't
fell
know
off.
about all that.
It wasn't like it's not terrorism. This guy wasn't a suicide thing. I just think that he had a cool job. He retired from the military and he's actually just a tour on a helicopter. You're a SEAL. You know how to fly these things. He's making damn good money. It's a cool gig to have this to show up for rich people.
Yeah.
But the chopper fell apart, and now they're looking into. They fucking banned that whole company that made that chopper. They stopped. They stopped.
Oh, they
selling-
did.
Yeah.
Well, now they do.
Well, when it fucking fell apart in the middle of the sky, like that's unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
That is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
But then another plane crash happened. Weird.
How much do you get in a lawsuit for that?
Oh, a lot. There's going to be. I don't know. It went under. I don't know.
Who can sue?
You're the
Like,
litigation guy.
who can sue on that?
You
Like,
know more about probably
is it
litigation
like,
than me. You
can
ask your
his
friend.
extended
Ask the Creve Coeur-
family? Could
Creve
his
Coeur Racket Club go in there and
does it
ask
have to be his immediate? Like, who's
Don't know.
who
Don't know
sues?
anything about that. Don't know anything about that. I just looked at what went down.
We may
all
go back
angles.
to the Creve Coeur Racket Club. It's not 100%.
We might have to go to Creve Coeur Racket Club and ask about litigation. But I will tell you this: that helicopter fell apart in mid-flight, and it's weird. And I haven't seen anything like that in a while with a helicopter.
Yeah.
That was odd, and it's very, very sad. And
But
it's just scary. It's
Creve
just
Coeur Racket Club, they're being sold. They're raising the prices, and then you don't even get your membership to the other lifetimes in town. Like at this,
okay, Andy,
I'm
no one
just
cares.
not having
no
that.
one cares.
So
I do
Racket
though.
Club
If I
Ladue,
made
I
a
think
lot
is
of
where
money
we're gonna
though,
go,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie to you. I'd fucking adopt a couple of them dire wolves they just made.
of what? Of who? Dire Wolves?
I'll adopt a couple of these dire wolves that
What
they
a-
just created.
What?
A dire wolf.
You changed it there.
It's dire wolf.
Dire Wolf. Is it
A
like
dire wolf, Andy.
Is it a
How many
robot?
times do I have to say it,
Is it
Maddie?
a-
Was I saying it right the first time? What the hell?
what's it gonna do?
It's a wolf.
It's gonna protect you.
Yeah, I just would be interested if I had a lot of money. I would be creative when it comes to animals and maybe do something like that. Or I'd be like, okay, I don't know if you could, but that'd be cool to have a badass dire wolf.
Dude, I knew.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I knew.
What?
I knew people that had.
People are like, how dare they do that? I'm like, so what? Make those.
I knew.
We've
People
lived
that
with
have
wolves for
wolves,
50,000 years. Hundreds of thousands, a million years. We've dealt with wolves. It's not a velociraptor.
No, it's not. I know.
That's a different story.
I know people that had wolves as pets.
We know you do,
domesticated wolves.
Yeah, no, I know.
Half wolf,
Yep.
a quarter wolf, 3/4 wolf, full wolf.
And this is like a mixture of a bunch of different
Like
things.
my dog Sierra, dude, my white German Shepherd.
Probably
like,
had a little
people
bit-
thought that she was a wolf all the time.
She might have had a
She
little
would
bit of
cruise
it.
around with wolves all the time when we'd go like into the woods and whatever.
That is extreme.
Not
That's
wild wolves.
extreme.
I knew people
That's
that had
extreme.
wolves. We go on hikes
Okay.
and we'd go on
Because
camping trips and
Those
they'd hang
wolves would
out the
tear
whole
her.
weekend together.
Those wolves would tear her. They're so territorial.
It's not
They
like
would
you're
tear her
walking
apart.
up into a wolf.
Well, you acted like you're
A
like
buddy
Ethan
brings his
Hawke
wolf
and
with them.
No. The way you told that story, talking about the way you told that story is
Yeah.
like she's coexisting with the wildlife, the wolves. and
No.
no.
But my buddy would be like,
That doesn't work. That
other
way.
people would bring
You're like
their
White Fang.
wolves with them.
My God.
They're half wolf, half husky.
Did you see that roof collapse that killed a couple ex-Cardinal players?
Octavio
Did
Dotel.
you see that?
Dude, it was a very trendy nightclub.
What? Yeah, no,
Beautiful
nice night.
women walking around in there.
Andy,
And
beautiful.
the person who was performing, he died.
He was a big star.
Big star.
It's like, look, everybody's like kind of just having a good time. There's a little bit of camera that shows, but you look at the roof, and this is in the Dominican Republic, by the way. Like, it's not the same codes that we have here by any stretch of the imagination. And this fucking roof was like made of concrete, it looked like. And the thing that had just had a lot of heavy stuff like attached to the roof. People are filming the roof. This little bit of stuff like falling down. Everybody's like, whoa, what's going on? Not too many people noticed it. And then all of a sudden, the camera stops and the whole thing goes bam.
No way.
Killed 245 people.
It's crazy. There was a lot of other like
Ex-Cardinal player.
celebrities in there too,
Yeah.
like family of celebrities, family of
Jesus.
athletes. Yeah,
That was
Octavio
fucked up.
Dotel, he had a great run here in the I want to say the 2013 playoffs en route to a World Series. Thinking about his family, man.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be so negative. It's just
God,
interesting
you
how that
ended it
happened.
on
I didn't
that.
mean to.
You
I
ended
did.
it on
I
that.
did watch all the highlights with the UFC. I didn't rent it, but I saw Paddy the Batty, who I've talked about here before, and you don't know who he is. He's an English UFC fighter who's actually really entertaining. He shit kicked Michael Chandler from Out by Us.
Did
Shit kicked him.
that was
Michael
this is
Chandler
the fight
is a high
he's been
school.
preparing
He's
for.
from like out by where I grew up.
Yeah.
Badass dude from Missouri.
So this is the fight that he's been preparing for.
No, he's been preparing for McGregor,
Uh-huh.
but Paddy Pimblett jumps in and fights him and just destroys him.
Damn.
Destroys
Is he
him.
still going to
Trump was
fight
there.
McGregor too, or no?
McGregor, I don't know what he's doing, dude.
Trump
He's
and Portnoy
partying.
were there.
Portnoy was hilarious. Portnoy was wearing his yarmulke because Bryce Mitchell talked about how he'd hang out with Hitler and one of these UFC fighters had just did a podcast and said the craziest things. And then,
Jesus.
yeah, it was pretty wild. Anyway, there's so
All
much
right.
drama in the UFC. It's unbelievable.
If I'm looking,
I love it.
If I'm looking bigger and stronger, it's because my creatine. Get your creatine, get your energy drinks, get your bars, get your protein, get everything you
Boom.
need from firstform.com/Cam and Strict. Only use our link. Firstform.com/Cam and Strict. Use our link today.
Let's
Get
go.
healthy, get on the right path, feel good, play good, look good.
That's right.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, basically. If you look good, you feel good.
Where's
you play
Shador
good.
going to get drafted?
Don't Andy? You asked me the stupid ass question last week. I don't know.
Did you see Dion yell at that scout?
No.
There was a scout who was telling the kids
I'm not into football right
where
now.
to how to line up and how to get off the block for the 40-yard dash. And he walks up. He's like, "Don't listen to this fucking guy." He was like, "You do you. You do you. You do what you do."
Oh,
I'm
boy.
like,
Oh,
God.
boy. Calm down.
I don't mean to talk like that around.
Well, you
about him.
did.
I don't. That was a terrible impersonation of Dion.
Maddie, don't edit that
No,
out. Seriously.
no. You might have to take that
No.
because
No.
I'm not trying
I've done
to.
that before, too.
I'm not.
I've done it before, too.
That's just how he talks,
so
dude. Dion,
You.
dude.
Whoa.
Oh my God! Don't do that.
I think I'm going to be okay. Shador?
Shador.
I'm not, listen, all y'all, you talk too much goddamn football in the summertime. I'm not into it.
Big shout out to Claude Julien, who goes into the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League Hall of Fame.
Cool.
Yeah.
Claude, I love him.
But
He's so
anyway, we're
funny.
thinking
I love
about
picking his
the
brain.
LSU family, everybody involved
Yeah.
with LSU football, and of course the family of the Marine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a weird one. There's some weird shit that goes down. There's a lot of weird shit. It's all good.
So we'll see what happens with
Yeah.
Dion and Shador and everybody else.
Shador?
Do you think if you draft Shador, you're like taking on Dion too? It's
Yeah.
going to be a lot.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be like
Too much,
his
man.
post-game news conferences after the
Jeez
game are
Louise.
going to be
He'll
about
be annoying.
the game coming up Sunday with Shador
Dude.
and how he's not starting.
Whoever drafts Shador, like, let's be honest here. You're drafting fucking Dion, too. You're drafting Dion and his whole family.
Oh
and
my
he is going to
God.
be straight up obnoxious. He knows everything.
So annoying.
He's going to annoy the coaching staff's going to be like, get him the fuck. He needs to stop.
Oh, those football
tweeting.
coaches don't give a
Oh
fuck.
my! They're gonna be like, "What the
They're
fuck
like,
is
get
this?
the fuck
Get
out.
out of here!"
I know you were a great player. It doesn't matter.
Don't
This
care.
is my show.
You got to put your foot down with him, dude.
But I love Dion. I
He's
always
great.
have, man.
He's
One
great.
of my favorite athletes of all time. But like,
Put your foot down with him.
he's a little bit of a helicopter dad for me right now.
Don't helicopter.
Oh God, dude. Okay,
You are,
I didn't.
You are not a sensitive.
You never
person.
heard of a helicopter parent?
You are not a sensitive.
Okay, dude. It's
You
like
don't think about
it's a saying.
person. From women to
It's a
and now helicopters.
it's a figure of speech. Go to first one.
Jeez Louise, dude.
JerseyGenerator.com.
Look at these bad boys. We got the cutest logo ever. Look at that.
Back hurts.
Isn't that hilarious?
Use the promo code Andy10.
Or Cam10, baby. Either one. Whatever you like more.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with
Let's
it.
go here, baby. Let's go.
All right. So Jersey Generator. Blue Note
Yep.
Roofing. Call David Novak today, 314-920-5713. Check it out and get that roof hooked up, man, and the siding and everything else. He's the absolute best.
He is great. Loves hockey.
Blue Note Roofing. Illinois Recovery Center.
Right there in Swansea, Illinois.
Mm.
Hopefully Clayton Keller from Swansea, Illinois
Yeah.
doesn't come out here and
Yeah.
dominate against the
Oh, my
Blues.
God.
Oh, boy. Big game, big game. But listen, if you're having trouble, Swansea, Illinois Recovery Center, I know them personally.
Yeah.
They really want to help you. They will help you. I've seen it over and over again.
No doubt.
So check it out. Reach out to me, whatever you want to do. And we'll get you in touch with Illinois Recovery Center.
Hatlaunch.com, baby.
Ooh,
Welcome back. They just renewed as well.
let's go.
Our renewal rate is what on the show?
Are you hoarding hats, Andy?
What do you mean?
No. Answer the question.
Hoarding hats.
I might lie about if we won a tournament that no one really knows who won.
He lied about
But I
that.
feel like Andy is hoarding a couple.
You were there when I got the hats. You got a hat.
I
got
was
a hat.
where?
At Hat Lunch.
I need to look through your house.
Come on.
Every time I go to Andy's house, he always comes out, never wants me to go in. No, it's really interesting. I'm curious about what's going on in there. It's either really dirty. I don't know.
It's not dirty.
I don't think it's dirty, but I think Andy has just a shit ton
There
of
is a lot of
stuff that I could be like, this could be part of my,
Yeah, it could be.
and you're hoarding it.
Yeah. You wouldn't want
That's
any of it.
gutless.
You-
I
you-
need hats.
You wouldn't
I
want-
wear hats more than you do.
You wouldn't want it. Oh, I don't have hats.
I bet you have a lot more things than you're telling me about.
Stuff I have you wouldn't want.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Have me over then.
Okay, come on over.
I'm going to come over just
Just randomly.
randomly,
Oh,
and
God.
then let me come in.
Is that not the scariest thing when your doorbell rings?
I'll military crawl, baby. No one does that to me anymore. You drive out to my house, it's a commitment. In Eureka, whoo, doggy.
Hatlaunch.com, though. They make the best hats, custom hats. The best customized hats you'll find in all of North America. Right there is Hat Launch, man. Danny and everybody over there, they're just doing great stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of work with them.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
Love
them.
A lot of content, a lot of digital content.
Cool.
So looking forward to that with hatlaunch.com. Out there in Collinsville, can't miss it. Get yourself a new hat. Let them design the logo for you.
Freaking, they got.
Let them design the logo for you,
Yep.
for your business, for your softball team, for your bowling team, for your fantasy football winner, for your racket club, whatever it is.
Whatever
man.
it is, doesn't matter.
Dude, they should be making your hats and your shirts, and they will, and they'll get them to you in 2 weeks,
It's pretty.
and they'll design them for you.
Yep. They'll help you design too.
What don't they do?
They do a lot.
They do everything. They do everything. Bolt Sports, baby. Get your son or daughter working on their own and improving their stick handling, Cam.
Oh man.
They've got what they call the dangles, these dangle bars, man. And the app can give you all different drills to do. So you can do some forehand, backhand, forehand, toe drag, sauce type stuff. There's a lot of different things you can do to improve your stick handling. And you can do that with a dangle bar from Bolt Sports. Check out boltsports.ca.
Don't the kids they all do this. So you got to keep up.
You got to keep
with the
up.
trend here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And, don't just shoot at a net. It's nice to have targets, too, especially when they light up and you can have the app and it keeps track of your score. And you can play against somebody in China.
China, you better have better hands than he does. He's in China and he beats you. Like, damn.
Everyone's
They're starting
improving.
to do
I
their
saw
thing
the
over there.
Japanese women play this morning
you didn't.
instead
No, you didn't.
of
You
Team
complained-
USA.
no, you complained
Instead
about
of seeing NHL highlights, I saw
You
the
complained
Japanese women
about
play.
women being on NHL Network this morning, and
Instead
it made me
of NHL
uncomfortable.
highlights.
It made me uncomfortable.
Instead,
Having two daughters, how dare you, Andy?
Yeah, I know. Cam at Bellman, you get no.
Swinging dicks. I god dang told you. I told you. None of that's crap. Not there. Not in Troy, Missouri. No.
Buick GMC on one side of the street, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Say hi to Danny boy.
Hey, Danny. How are you?
And Kenny.
Kenny.
Dale.
Dale. Wait, where the fuck?
Say hell yeah, Dale.
Hell yeah, Dale.
TrueFloat.ca.
Love you guys. You guys
Get
are awesome.
yourself those coolers, man. Put your logo on the cooler. Much like True Hat Launch, you can do the same thing with TrueFloat. These incredible coolers that are better than Yeti. Yeti, in comparison to TrueFloat, doesn't compare. It's like
Bunch of pansies over there. They're pansies compared to fucking True Flow.
they'll fall apart. They'll dent.
They'll fall apart.
They'll dent.
Like True Flow will fall off the back of the pickup
Nothing
truck.
happens to
Going
it.
down
Doesn't even scratch.
You're going down the river. The pickup truck cab's open. You opened up. You forgot to shut it.
Doesn't even scratch.
And that thing falls out at 60 miles an hour. Nothing happens.
Your logo looks great because you can put your logo
the
on
beer's
it.
still intact.
Oh, my God.
That's the difference.
They've got ones with wheels.
That's the difference.
They've got the ice cube trays. They got everything. in there.
Badass.
So check it out, man. TrueFloat.ca. Check it out today.
Check it out.
All right, we thank Olie Kolzig,
Thanks,
all of our
guys.
sponsors, Maddie here at Half Coast Studios, everybody for helping us get on and off today on episode number 338, baby.
Love you guys.
Have a great week, everybody.
Tune into this. Turn on the cam, I in the fizz. Turn on the switch, listen to Strig, yeah. Know if we swinging, there's never a miss. Don't follow a script, yeah, topics change quick. Looking for facts, looking for tips. One's an enforcer, one's a reporter. Together we Cam and Strig, yeah. One's an enforcer, one's a reporter, yeah. You tuning in to Cam and Strig.